All right. What's going on, Facemask fam? Welcome to the Tuesday Waiver Show. Um, got me solo today. John is visiting family. He's off today and for the member stream tomorrow. We've been uh, vocalizing this anyway, but just as a reminder, we are splitting up the work for the members streams this year. I'll be taking Wednesdays, which will be officially. I'm branding this, I guess, for the first time. The member streams on Wednesday will be box score Wednesdays, so members will get the opportunity. We're going to do a deep dive. We'll do a deep dive of the box scores from the previous week. Do a little nitty gritty research. See what edges we can gain from something like that. And then John's got you for the Thursday member streams, where he takes you up to kickoff of the Thursday night football game. So he will be back for that stream. And then he's got you this coming week for Start Sit Help Saturday and Sunday. I will actually be off. I will be at a wedding. So my last wedding of the year, Wedding Crasher Nick, right? And then that's it. Then you got us both moving forward for the foreseeable future on our regular cadence. So looking forward to having some normalcy back to the stream. What's going on, guys? Though appreciate the early comments and viewers. So my spiel is over. Nemo, bad audio script. Patrick, what's going on, guys? One more time, John is off today. He will have you Thursday for his members only stream. And I got you guys tomorrow for box score Wednesdays for the members. So looking forward to that. Today, I assume, is the traditional waiver ad drop day for most leagues. And so we're going to go over that today. Any and all questions in the chat, everything is welcome as far as questions or thoughts about waiver ads this week. We can help with trades as well, with not as much of a time crunch to determine start sit help. Trade discussions can obviously be brought up today as well. So yeah, let's dive into it. Bad audio script. Do I like the Cowboys defense as a streamer this week? So the Cowboys get Washington, who just gave up 9 sacks to the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Cowboys have Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. Yeah. Good stream, I would say. Ride that momentum of the Washington offensive line playing terribly on Sunday and fire up the Cowboys. Yeah. Parsons and Lawrence are certainly good enough to capitalize on poor offensive line play like that. So, yeah. And the game's in Dallas. So I always, if I can get a home favorite that I feel good about as far as just like winning the game, yeah, I'm interested in that defense as a stream. So, yeah. J-Dog, is it safe to drop Mecole Hardman in Dynasty? Man, he has been awfully quiet. Although I know he caught a touchdown. He caught a touchdown week 1. That was against Arizona, who they were a bit of a train wreck week 1. They're kind of a train wreck just in general. But I mean, if there's a guy like I don't know if it's Richie James, right? Like somebody like him is available. Somebody like him is on the wire, and you're trying to pick him up. Or it could be like Mac Hollins, who even knows. Depends on the depth of your bench, right? How deep your rosters are. But what did Hardman do yet? What did Hardman even do on Sunday? I'm looking at 3 for 49 was week 2. 1 catch, 2 yards. Yeah, he's still only 24. We have to keep that in mind with Mecole Hardman. I haven't been a big proponent of his. Now, a lot of that has been redraft based, has been on a season per season basis and not as much a dynasty perspective. Regardless, I haven't really been on Mecole Hardman. Decent contributions week 1 and 2. But if you're looking for a guy who can contribute right now, like a Richie James, um, and he's out there, and you need a guy that looks like he might give you 5 catches for 50 yards. Could be on a weekly basis, especially with Sterling Shepard unfortunately tearing his ACL last night. Yeah, it would be fine to pivot off of Hardman. I just would caution he's still only 24. Um, there is still room to grow there. But it depends. Like, is there somebody on the wire right now, J Dog, that you're looking at and you're like, I kind of want to add that person? If you can talk yourself into saying definitively, like, yeah, there's a guy out there right now who I want to add to my team, then sure. If you need the help, then sure. But who is it that you're looking at? New Jerusalem, what's going on? Nemo, let's see, Giants, Bears, or Rams defense. Rams are on the road on Monday night, right, against San Francisco. That could be good. Probably just go with the best defense there. Who are the Bears? The Bears are playing. Aren't they playing the? They're not playing the Vikings. The Vikings are in London this week. Who do the Bears have this week? The Giants. Okay. It's possible that is favorable on paper just because it's the Giants offense and they're continuing to look. The Cowboys are going to be, to be fair, the Cowboys are going to be a difficult matchup for a lot of offensive lines. Again, they have DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons. That's about as good of a duo of edge rushers that you can get. So they're going to be a problem for a lot of offensive lines, but man, the Giants offensive line struggled last night. So I understand wanting to target that. And then you have the Giants. They're okay, and then they would subsequently be playing the Bears. I think I would just play the best unit in this scenario, which is the Rams. They're on the road, but it's a division game. The 49ers offense looked pretty anemic Sunday night. Denver's got a good defense, but I mean, like, so do the Rams. Jimmy Garoppolo, what do you have? 200 passing yards, a touchdown, and an interception. I don't even know if he threw threw a touchdown. He may not have. I would probably rock with the good unit that's on the best overall team, instead of leaving things up to chance just based on a good matchup between two bad teams. That's just me. Bad audio. What should you do with J-Rob? Probably just keep firing him up, right? So running backs are McCaffrey, Robinson, Jamal, and Brees. Okay. So you could use a wide receiver. Hollywood had a really nice day. Hollywood had a really strong week 3. But we don't know if we can rely on that consistently week in, week out, especially with Hopkins coming back in a few weeks. I mean, I think you need. Could you flip Jamal Williams to the person who has Swift? What receivers do they have? Because now is the time where the person who has Swift might be in a little bit of panic mode. He's supposed to miss now a couple of weeks, and that'll put him through the week 6 bye. So Swift that's a 3-week stretch that DeAndre Swift is likely not playing. You have McCaffrey, you have Robinson, you have Brees. They're locked into, I think, a little bit more firmer roles than Williams right now. Williams has had 2 very strong weeks for fantasy to kick things off this year. Now plus his opportunity, I feel like you can parlay Jamal Williams into a wide receiver 2 right now. Like, maybe do Jamal, and you could even offer one of those 2 receivers and see if you can secure yourself like a wide receiver 1. I don't know if I want to like try to buy low on Devontae Adams right now, but that might get it done. Adams has been a little quiet the past couple of weeks relative to his expectations, but that might get it done. You could also like target Mike Evans. You could target probably can't get AJ Brown, but you could try. Like who does the I would say I would see who the person who has Swift has and see if you can, coax them with or entice them with Jamal Williams. And we got a dog showing in the background. Never a bad thing. New Jerusalem Singletary. Yeah, I think we originally. I forget what the start sit options were. I feel like I remember saying like Singletary, but then I allowed myself to talk. I talked myself out of it, and we went with a different option. So that's our bad. I do like taking a chance on. I know the running backs in the Bills offense don't get as much work as you would like to see, but like being attached to an offense like that, it's worth it to just fire up the players in that offense and hope for the best. And Singletary is he still is the 1A in that offense. They're all involved. All of those running backs are involved, but Singletary is first man up. So yeah, I would say it's fair to want to have him in your lineup just in general. Richie, what's going on? Is Gainwell droppable? I think he is, but I don't know if I would pick up Samaje Perine for him. That being said, Gainwell's usage has been pretty sporadic, which is a little concerning considering the Eagles have had huge halftime leads now, the past 2 weeks. And Gainwell, so game script was heavily in favor of the Eagles running backs, and it hasn't happened for Gainwell or Boston Scott. So yeah, I mean, if you need somebody, I would say this guy Richie James on the Giants just probably potentially stepped into a full-time role last night. Kadarius Toney is dealing with an injury. Kenny Golladay is, it's all bad vibes right now for Kenny Golladay. Sterling Shepard, unfortunately, tearing his ACL, and we hope, we wish the best for Sterling Shepard. Richie James is that's a guy to consider for dropping Gainwell. If Doubs is on your wire, he's worth considering. I don't know about Samaje. I think he had 13 snap or touches to Mixon's 15, something like that. It was a very close split as far as touches go. But Mixon is still out snapping Perine by a significant margin. I don't think I would chase the fact that he caught a touchdown week 3. Don't think I would do that. J-Dog, I'm sorry to see that collection of wide receivers. It's just been there's a lot of good names in there. It's just injuries or bad fortunes right now. Godwin should be coming back soon, though, and I would feel good about all of those young guys. And I see you thinking Zay Jones. If you can grab, so in Dynasty, I know Zay Jones is playing right now. Playing well right now. I guess it depends. J-Dog, it depends. Zay Jones is 27. Mecole Hardman is 3 years younger and has the speed to be a better version of what Zay Jones is now in a couple of years. Has the chance. Are you a contender? Then sure. If you're a contender, then yeah, go get Zay Jones. Get yourself some receiver help that can help you win right now. If you're more middle of the pack or worse, then I might try to take my lumps right now, and I might as well just hang on to a 24-year-old wide receiver who still has a chance to flash this year or meet some form of potential. He's had 2 decent weeks. Last week was a dud, but weeks 1 and weeks 2, he did have a couple of decent weeks. And I'm not sure. I don't know if Godwin's back this week. I haven't seen an update that got as it pertains to Godwin and the timeline for his return. I feel like I would have seen. I have Godwin in a dynasty league myself. But also maybe I'm just not seeing the latest updates. No, I don't. I mean, yeah, I'm not. I'm not sure. Guess we'll see. Jacob Ander, what's going on? Thanks for joining. Would I trade Dobbins for Schultz in PPR? If you have Everett at tight end, then no. I don't think I would. I don't. Schultz is. I know Dak is injured, but Schultz is not off to any. Schultz missed last night with the injury. It's just I'm shooting higher than that if I have Dobbins, because now Dobbins is past the injury, right? Dobbins' arrow is pointing straight up. I would shoot higher than that. I see you're loaded at running back. That's, first of all, that's great. Always good to be loaded at running back, but that can change, like, at the drop of a hat, right? Two guys could go down in 1 week because they're running backs, unfortunately. Shoot higher. Go for Waller. Like Waller's I know he's not performing. He hasn't been awesome to start the year. But to that point, we still believe in him as a top 5 tight end. Like, try to, get him on the cheap. Shoot higher. Shoot higher than Schultz. Dobbins is a starting running back on a good offense. Shoot higher. I would go for Waller, or you could go for Kittle too, who has. The 49ers aren't super inspiring right now, just based on Sunday night. But Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't practiced a lot this off season, so he's shaking the dust off. Not that Jimmy Garoppolo is anything spectacular, but he raises the floor of the 49ers passing attack. Like, you might have to be a little patient, but grab one of those. Grab Kittle. Grab Waller. You're not going to get one of the top 3, especially Pitts had a strong day on Sunday, so you're not getting the top 3 tight ends. But with a starting running back, shoot for Waller or Kittle. Gianni Video, what should I do with Antonio Gibson? So in an 8-man league, you can sell high because you've probably got good options on your bench. And there are probably decent options on the wire. I would try to flip him, maybe package him and a wide receiver 2, and try to get a wide receiver 1. You can absolutely. You probably have strong options or strong depth and alternatives and pivots in an 8-man league. So yeah, sell high on him. And bad audio. Right. But I agree. Better than aim a little higher. Patrick says the Giants, I think that was the starting defense. I would still go with the Rams. The Giants defense did look pretty good in the first half last night against the Cowboys. I worry that offense can, self-destruct and put the Giants defense in bad situations. And the Bears can do it too. Like, that's another part of your starting defense. On their other side of the coin, the same team's offense, like, is that offense good? Will they, can they score? Can they control the ball? Can we trust them to sustain drives? I don't trust the Giants offense or the Bears offense to be able to sustain drives, even in a favorable matchup where they're playing each other. I don't want to leave that to chance. That's just me. J-Dog, you could also, is it like a tight end premium dynasty league? Who's your current tight end? Just out of curiosity. Nick Popich, I hope I'm saying that correctly. What's going on? You have Lamar, McCaffrey, Fournette, Kelsey, CeeDee, London, Judy, Godwin. Should you trade Kelsey and Jamal for Mark Andrews? No. I know. Okay. Andrews is off to, bad week, poor week 1 for Mark Andrews. Great weeks 2 and weeks 3. Strong week 1 and week 3 for Kelsey. Bad week 2 for Kelsey. I think Andrews right now is the tight end 1. I don't know by how many points. But you have the other guy who is, like, as far as, I respect Mark Andrews is phenomenal, but I would call Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce like 1A and 1A before I call them 1 and 2. Like you have the other tight end to have in the league, Nick, in Travis Kelce. So to give him up plus Jamal Williams, who is an incredibly valuable commodity right now, I don't want to do a 2-for-1 where I have anchor number 1 tight end plus a really strong running back 2 right now for anchor tight end 1. I'd feel like I'd be losing that. I hear that you could stack with Lamar and Andrews. I would expand the deal. Like if you want Kelce and Jamal Williams, like Mark Andrews is usually in a 2-for-1. Mark Andrews is usually going to be the best player and worth it. But in this scenario, ask for another. If you want the stack, ask for something else back. Jamal Williams deserves that right now, and it's not like you're offering Kittle and Jamal Williams or Waller and Jamal Williams. Then yes, if you can accomplish that 2-for-1, sure. But because it's Kelce, ask for something else back. Expand the trade. Travis Heath, what's going on? Should you trade Kirk for A.J. Dillon? What's the rest of your roster look like? Let me see if you've posted it in here at all. No, I don't see it. Oops, I just moved myself off of somehow I just slid off of the live stream chat. 1 second. Sorry about this. I'm pulling this back up. I think so Kirk for A.J. Dillon. So let me know the rest of your roster. Come on, YouTube. Man, you would think that this would be set up a little better where it's like easy access and you can't. There we go. Okay, hang on. Sorry about that, everybody. Let's see. Okay, here we go. And bad audio. Appreciate, anybody who's in the chat and wants to talk shop and bounce off of different ideas off of each other. Absolutely in favor of that. Always love the discourse and the dialogue. Okay, Travis, let me know your rest of your roster. Nemo, I'll give you a kicker on. Shoot, I'm not here for start sit help on Saturday and Sunday. I'll get back to you, Nemo. I will get back to you. Cole Pierce, should trade Higgins and Kirk for Waddle? I wouldn't. I wouldn't. That's a lot of strong receiver depth just to get another. Waddle's excellent, but so are Higgins and Kirk. I would not do that. I would not do that. Nemo, side A, Lamar, Bateman, and JD. Is that JD McKissick? Side B, Russ, Sutton, and Dalvin. Side A, and it's not close. No disrespect to Cortland Sutton, but I don't want Russ or Dalvin Cook. I don't want Russ or Dalvin Cook. Side A, not close. And Nemo, Pup is good. He had his surgery. He had like an 11.5-pound mass that just grew in a matter of weeks. Doctors got it out. Surgery was a success. He is pretty much all healed up. Happy to report, but appreciate that. Appreciate that very much, Nemo. Mixon's a little Mixon's a little banged up. Yeah, okay, so that's fair. On Thursday, P Ryan could be. He's got to. I mean, I can't. I can't. I don't think I can advise firing up P Ryan unless it's a 15-person league or 15 starting roster spot, 12-team league or something like that. Yes, he's going to be more involved on a Thursday night. You can always bank on backup running backs getting more play, getting more run on Thursday night. It's going to have to be a pretty deep league for me to suggest firing him up. J-Dog, okay, so not off to the start that you wanted, right? You're not trying to make a bad decision. I hear you. Let me go back and look at your Metcalf, Godwin, Pickens, Watson, Palmer, and Hardman. I mean, so I would say, J-Dog, if you want, give me the rest of your roster. Send me the rest of your roster, and then let's take a look. Like, you're 0-3, but like, you got a lot of young, ascending, talented players. Like, let me know. Put the whole roster in, and we can talk through this. Cole Pierce, Mixon for Waller. I don't think I want to do that. What's the rest of your roster? Like, what's the depth look like? Patrick, the Giants receiving room. I guess Toney naturally gains value. Kadarius Toney should naturally, organically gain value. Sterling Shepard, they can play very similar roles. I guess, Toney's got a little bit more diversity to his game. He's a little bit more dynamic of a playmaker, or should be. But Shepard, by all accounts, at this point, was the Giants' wide receiver one, with a common, I guess, between experience and pedigree to this point. But now he's gone. Kenny Golladay, I don't know if he's on the way out. I don't know if they're talking about the Giants are going to trade him. This is got to be a salary dump trade. You're not going to get anything for that contract. If you're the Giants, you probably have to give up like a second. It's got to be like a Brock Osweiler salary dump. Maybe not to that extreme, but like, there's been speculation the Giants may trade Kenny Golladay. To who? For what? No disrespect to Kenny Golladay, but he hasn't produced on the field for 3 years now. What team is going to want to take that contract on? So, I don't know how much. I don't know what what's going to unfold there. If the Giants actually want to trade him, they have to give up a draft pick in like a salary dump type of move. It's almost like an NBA move. Like, we'll take your crap contract if you give us a pick, right? We'll see what happens. Regardless, it seems like his days in New York are numbered, if not already done. So, yeah, Toney gains value. You got to think Wan'Dale Robinson will eventually see the field, but both of them are coming back from injury. And Brian Daboll said both are close today. He said both are close. I don't know if that means they're going to be ready to play the Bears on Sunday, or if that means they need another week. And with Toney, the soft tissue injuries, man, every week he's in and out of the lineup. I feel like he's a ticking time bomb. So, yeah, Toney gains value. I'm still not – if I have him, I'm selling as high as I can right now, and I don't know what that is. Like, I'm selling high on this new apparent opportunity that he has, if I have him. The Giants could grab Will Fuller, but like, also, what the hell happened to Will Fuller? Like, is he alive? I have not heard a peep about Will Fuller. It's like, I think in July or so, it was like, oh, it might take until into the season to sign with a team, and like, that was the last I had heard of Will Fuller. I don't know where he is. J-Dog, if you have Pitts and I think you said down low, it's not tight end premium. I mean, you want to talk about a guy you can drop? Since you have Dulcich on your taxi squad, drop Kmet. Like I'm more uh, confident, I guess, at this point that Komet is droppable over a guy like Hardman, which I didn't think I would be something I would say going into the season, but holy hell, man, Komet can't get anything. I mean, the Bears' offense in general can't get anything going. But did he have another goose egg on Sunday? Like, I think he's still only 24, 25, but or no, he's 23. Okay, he had 2 catches for 40 yards. All right, a little better, but like, okay, he's on the board. Those are his first 40 yards of the season through 3 games. And this Bears offense like still can't find the end zone, man. We both John and I both expressed concerns about Justin Fields. Maybe not last week, but 2 weeks ago. Damn, I am worried about Justin Fields. I feel like if you want to pick up Njoku, drop Komet for Njoku. That I'm fine with. Or you can grab Zay Jones for Komet. Either one. I think Komet is a drop. Dan, you offered Mike Evans, AJ Dillon, and Thielen for Justin Jefferson. Feels like a lot. I do understand wanting to potentially buy low on a guy who I still believe has overall wide receiver 1 upside. Man, could you try Evans and Thielen? That's probably won't get it done, but could you try Evans and Thielen and try to keep Dillon? It just feel I don't love doing 3-for-1s. Just feels like unless my depth is just outrageously good. I guess it depends on the depth of the rest of your roster. Gits, what's going on? Coming London for Dillon. Trying to remember. I guess you might need to refresh my memory. Anyway, Saquon. Oh, okay. Yeah. Do we move London for Dillon? Man. So you have Saquon. So Montgomery's going to miss some time. McKissick, Kenneth Walker. I think at this point, Gits, you can ask for more than Dillon because Dillon has had a couple of quieter weeks the past 2 weeks, and London is firing. London looks really good. I think at this point, you can ask for Dillon and more. You can ask for Dillon plus, and you should. London looks good. I had my concerns about him in the offseason. I was wrong. I was wrong. You should be able to ask for Dillon plus for London right now. Throw in McKissick or Walker if you have to get like 2 really strong pieces in Dillon and something else. I think that's fair. Blurpy, I like the name. Should you trade D-Hop and Akers for Kirk and Stevenson? It depends on your situation. Akers looks like he, kind of retook that job in the Rams backfield. Are you 3-0 or 2-1 and you're sitting good and you can afford to wait on D-Hop? Then I would hold. If you're 1-2 or 0-3 and you feel like you need some early season wins, then I guess I'm a little bit more okay with making the trade, but I'm a little worried that that's not going to age very well. Kirk is excellent right now and he's a wide receiver 1. Stevenson had a really good day too. But Akers, I think Akers is separating himself from Henderson in a way that Stevenson is not going to with Damian Harris, if that makes sense. Plus, you got a guy who has, again, low-end wide. At this point, I'll say low-end wide receiver 1 upside. I don't know if DeAndre Hopkins still has high-end wide receiver 1 upside when he returns. He might, but he's older now. We'll see. But still, he's got wide receiver 1 upside. I worry that Akers is like the linchpin in this deal. if you're in good shape, Blurpy, if you're looking at your situation in your league and you're like, oh, I'm good. I think I might hold. I think I might hold. Yeah, if you're doing well, I would hold. Isaiah Aid, you had to auto draft. No. Um, Managed to get a trade going though. You got so Amon Ra, Trevor Lawrence, and Pitts. You'd be giving up Jefferson, Fournette, and Knox. Is it so? You ended up without a. You ended up okay. You ended up without a quarterback and tight end. Who's your current quarterback? Jefferson is a step up from Amon Ra, even though Amon Ra's off to a spectacular start. Pitts is a big upgrade from Knox, a huge upgrade from Knox. But Leonard Fournette still has RB1 upside, so I don't know if I necessarily want to. I don't know if I want to give that up. I would need to know the rest of your roster, Isaiah. I would need to know the rest of your roster, and even then, I don't know if I want to do that. And Gitz, you agree? J Dog, so I would say Komet is a drop for you before Hardman. Never thought I'd hear myself say that, but there you go. Okay, so Dan, what trade should you look to make? I mean, Mixon, Najee, Evans, Pittman, Kelsey, London. I mean, it's a pretty strong group, Dan. If you're worried about Pittman, I don't know, maybe Matt Ryan's not playing spectacular right now. He had a better day, I guess, on Sunday a little bit, but you could always try to get another wide receiver, like go for a wide receiver one, see if you can. Oh, what am I saying? Pittman had 8 for 72. He's for some reason I thought he had a quieter day than that. Yeah, I mean, there's not too much more to upgrade there, Dan. I would say it's a pretty strong squad. You've got 2 RB1s. You've got 2 wide receiver guys with wide receiver one upside. You have Kelsey. You have London and Dillon. I think you're fine. I do. I mean, at this point, if you want to trade some combination of like London or Godwin and Dillon and Wilson and Edmonds for like another RB1 or another wide receiver one, you could try to do that. I would, maybe try a 2-for-1 where you trade Wilson and Godwin or Dillon and Thielen or something like that and try to get like a bona fide stud. Other than that, I think you're square. Sam, what's going on? Ceiling for Romeo Doubs. I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say right now. He had a spectacular week 3 in a tough spot, right? Tough matchup against the Bucks. And by the looks of it, he's going to have a permanent full-time role. I don't know what the latest is as far as Sammy Watkins. These are you can ask your sometimes it's helpful to just like, oh, did Sammy Watkins go on an IR? So, I mean, there you go. So, yeah, the price just went up, right? Like Sammy Watkins placed on injured reserve. This is not season ending, but he's going to miss the next 4 games. I mean, what's the latest on Christian Watson? He missed as well. I mean, he's got a hamstring injury. I hate hamstring injuries. These types of things linger. They're concerning. Yeah, Doubs has a chance. I guess there was a sleeper notification earlier that he could be the team's wide receiver 1. I mean, Alan Lazard is still there, and I still think this offense is going to run through the Packers' backs. But yeah, what Doubs had? Doubs had like 7 catches and a touch, right? 8 catches and a touch. So 8 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. Am I banking on wide receiver 1 production every week? No. Can he be a steady wide receiver 2 for at least the next couple of weeks? Yeah, I guess he can. 5 catches, 60 yards, 65 yards, scores a touchdown here and there. That might be a floor. That might like 5 for 60, 6 for 65, 6 for 70, 5 for 65. Like that could be a floor at this point. So yeah, if you have Doubs, he could probably be started as a wide receiver 3. If he's my wide receiver 2, I'm sailing high and see if I can get something a little bit more proven. But yeah, strong option right now. Nemo, appreciate it. Yeah, if you have not hit that like button, we would really appreciate that. It certainly helps us in the algorithm, but I promise I won't beg. Cameron B, my day is going well. I hope yours is as well. What do we got going on here? 16 team full PPR. You got offered Dotson for Nyheim Hines. You've got AJ Brown, Amari Cooper, Brandon Ayuk. Okay, and you've got some young options. So I guess okay, and then you threw your running backs down below. McCaffrey, you have McCaffrey and Saquon. All right. Kareem Hunt and Alexander Madison. Yeah, do it. Screw it. I like Nyheim Hines, I do, but he hasn't fired through the first few weeks, and this Colts offense is not super impressive. I don't know how to feel about the Washington offense after they got shellacked by the Eagles week 3, but they're also not going to face a pass rush as good as the Eagles most of the time. Now, they will this week when they have to go against the Cowboys, but other than that, Dotson's going to have his opportunities. Yeah, do it. Because Rondale Moore is like, at this point, I know it's 16 teams, so you're probably a little bit more hesitant, but Rondale might be a drop candidate at this point. He hasn't done anything to start the year. Greg Dortch is off to a pretty strong start, and we're now 3 weeks closer to DeAndre Hopkins being back. Like, Rondale Moore is droppable. Maybe not in 16 teams, but like he's damn close. If you can't put him on IR, having missed like the past couple of weeks. Nemo, the car Myles Garrett was in just got wait, the car was at the hospital? I'm happy that Myles Garrett is ultimately okay. You never want to hear about these types of things. Yeah, Rojo, I like that red badge. Looks pretty good. I haven't looked at your zombie league team, but if you haven't lost to the zombie, you have not hit the bottom. I will say it's clear, in zombie leagues, it's clear how like significant of a disadvantage the zombie is. I still want that role. I still want to like losses wouldn't bother me, Like you want to win, but if I'm the zombie in a zombie league, I would be like, all right, this year is strictly like just for fun. I'm expected to lose, So if I win, like you will not hear the end of it from me. Different conversation. Love, what's going on? Traded the Cowboys defense. Logan Thomas, David Montgomery for Zach Ertz and Kirk. Dang, that's a huge getting Kirk for that. Nicely done. I mean this in the nicest way possible. I don't care if you need a running back after that. That's a great. You got an injured. You gave up a defense, a tight end 2, and an injured running back for a low end tight end 1 and a wide receiver 1. Take a shot. Nicely done. Or have a drink, or do something to celebrate. Or is that Kirk Cousins? Maybe I misunderstood. Is that Kirk Cousins? If it's Christian Kirk, I would be like, I'm doing backflips for you. But if it's Kirk Cousins, that makes a bit more sense. Diggs, Olave, Hollywood. You have Christian McCaffrey. So who do I think you should pick up? Well, who's available? Let me know. Who's available? Your roster's fine, though, with Diggs, Olave, and Hollywood, and then you have McCaffrey. You just need to find some other running back to just fill the spot each week. You're in better shape than I think you maybe are giving yourself credit for as far as saying you need a running back. Nemo, you'll get a zombie friend eventually. Xavier, what's going on? Good to see you. Congrats on that big win. Packers handled their business in a tough spot on Sunday. Crazy to start Jacoby over Lamar? Yes. I know. I know that the Bills' defense is spectacular, and they're probably going to be coming into this game pretty pissed off after losing the way they did. I know Ken Dorsey will be pissed off. I am not sitting Lamar Jackson for anybody. I am not sitting Lamar Jackson for a single person. Like maybe Josh Allen, the other guy in that game. That's it. I would play Lamar over everybody. He could be facing a defensive Hall of Famers. I'm playing Lamar. That Bills defense, Nemo, has they have shut down. They did shut down Matthew Stafford, so that's not nothing. Although there were concerns about Stafford's elbow coming into the season, and that Rams offense just like didn't look ready to play that night. Week 2, they shut down Ryan Tannehill and that anemic Titans offense. And week 3, they shut down Tua, but Tua was playing the second half with a concussion, and you can't convince me otherwise. That was, we saw him. Everybody saw that replay, right, of Tua. He got, he got hit. He fell backwards, fell on his back first, but then his head slammed on the turf, and then he was all woozy and wobbly and getting up. And they said it's a back injury. Stop it. Tua played the second half of that game with a concussion, which is not supposed to happen. Player safety, right? So give me Lamar Jackson. I'll take my chances with Lamar Jackson. Gets who wins? Evans, Jacoby Myers, Dobbins for Jefferson. Man, I tend to like, I know Jacoby Myers missed last week. I actually don't know what Myers long term is. He okay for week 4? I actually have to look that up. Evans has passed the suspension. Dobbins has cleared a significant hurdle in getting back into the starting lineup and seeing the most snaps of Ravens running backs week 3. I love Justin Jefferson. I still think he has overall wide receiver 1 potential, but that feels like I don't like the idea of doing 3-for-1s. So I would probably take the package. Jefferson is the best player in that, obviously by far he's commanding, 3 names. But Evans is a wide receiver 1 in his own right. Jacoby Myers is a very boring, uninspiring, but can be a nice depth option wide receiver 3 for you. And Dobbins is on the RB2 roadmap for, at least for moving forward, just in general. That's a lot of depth to give up. My team would have to be loaded to want to do that deal. I'll take the package. All right, J-Dog, you got Herbert and Rodgers. You got, Breece Hall, Clyde, so Madison, that's a big boost. And then, you have Pitts. If you can trade Rodgers, I'm fine with that. This doesn't look like it, or this doesn't look like it. Maybe it's a super flex league. I can't tell if it's a super flex league. If it's a super flex league and you're trading Rodgers this year, then you are in sell mode. So then maybe don't pick up Zay Jones just to, or don't drop Mecole Hardman. This team can compete. I don't know if it has like a horse, like an anchor, either at running back or wide receiver that would put you over the top in the playoffs. But the long-term outlook of this team is definitely strong. I would say hold Mecole Hardman. But if you want to drop Cole Kmet for either Zay Jones or Njoku, that's fine with me. Okay, if you're thinking about trading Rodgers and dropping Drew Lock, I would assume this might be a 1-quarterback league. Travis, you have Cook, Pierce, Swift, Herbert, Edmonds, and then Brian Robinson on IR. Wide receivers are Higgins, Gabe, Kirk, Sutton, and Lazard. Okay, I need to just scroll back up to see what the trade was. Trade Kirk for AJ Dillon. Okay, that's right. I was like it had something to do with Christian Kirk. Should you trade Christian Kirk for AJ Dillon? Since you have Dalvin Cook is Dalvin Cook, DeAndre Swift, you're without. But you can fire up Khalil Herbert probably this week, and Dameon Pierce you can fire up moving forward. You have Chase Edmonds, Higgins, Gabe, Kirk, and Sutton. But see, the thing is, if anything happens to Higgins or Gabe or Sutton, and you don't have Kirk, I don't like having to pivot to Lazard. Could you I don't know, he might not go for this. Can you try or she? Could you try Edmonds and Lazard for Dillon? Like give up Edmonds had an okay day. Lazard did Lazard catch another touchdown? No, he didn't. But still, he's in a good situation. Could you try Edmonds and Lazard? Try that 2-for-1 for Dillon. You'd still get it. You're still getting a good running back option and a good receiver option. And Dillon's coming off 2 kind of quiet weeks. Could you try that? Try to keep Christian Kirk, keep your wide receivers. I would try that. If it doesn't go for it, then I think maybe I would stay put. Your running back depth is pretty strong despite not having. So Cook might play. Swift is not going to play. But you have Pierce, Herbert, and Edmonds. I would say, and then you just wait a few weeks, and then you'll have Swift back. I would say try Edmonds and Lazard. You could even try Dalvin Cook. I would even say, Travis, I worry about Dalvin Cook with another shoulder separation. You could try Dalvin Cook and get Dillon and something else, and throw Lazard in the deal. Cook and Lazard for Dillon and an upgrade at wide receiver, or maybe try another, or aim higher than Dillon. Cook for something else. I would try that. Try to capitalize on the fact that Dalvin Cook has said he's going to play this week before we get any injury reports. I would try that. I worry about Dalvin Cook with the shoulder. I do. And yeah, London looks like he's going to be a problem for a long time. And Blurpy, you're 3-0. I would not do that trade. You could try Hopkins for Kirk straight up. You can try that, but I would keep Akers. You could try that. Just depends on your personal preference. If you're 3-0, you can go whichever way you want. I would say maybe hold your investment in Hopkins if you still believe in him as far as having wide receiver 1 upside. But I would be fine with giving up Kirk. I would keep Akers though. Drunken Hamster. What's happening, Drunken Hamster? You just did a trade in a 10-team PPR. You gave up Kelsey and Evans and Juju. You got Jefferson, Javonte Williams, and TJ Hawkinson. Okay. All right. At first I was like, ooh, Kelsey and Evans. But you got – I still like – I've been saying, throughout this stream, I still like Justin Jefferson as far as overall wide receiver 1 potential. I have just a little tease for everybody. I have a Broncos backfield breakdown. Say that 10 times fast. Coming out tomorrow, where I address the snap share of the Denver Broncos running backs and just, I give my thoughts on it. I guess the short version is I like the Javonte Williams acquisition. If you're interested in hearing a little bit more, Denver Broncos backfield breakdown dropping tomorrow, sometime late afternoon. But it'll be up tomorrow with the Broncos, to address Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, and that split. But I like acquiring Javonte. Hawkinson is dicey. I know he caught a touchdown. On Sunday. He's a little dicey. He's a steep drop off from Kelsey. But Jefferson is an upgrade from Evans, and if Jefferson and Javonte are I think that's fair for Kelsey and Evans, and I guess I'd rather have Hawkinson than Juju because Hawkinson at least offers probably not weekly tight end one upside, but some somewhat consistent low end tight end one upside, whereas Juju is a wide receiver 3. I would say it's pretty fair. I would say that's pretty fair. Big BS. What's going on, Big BS? So this is a start sit question. Lockett, Cooks, Davis, or Judy. Is that Gabe Davis? I would go back to the well with Gabe Davis. We are going to host. We regularly host on the weekends start sit live streams closer to the actual games being played. Saturday 6 p.m. Eastern, Sunday 10 a.m. Eastern. That'll be John. Both days riding solo this week. Actually, I am at a wedding this weekend. Actually, sorry, this is our first week with an international game. So Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern, start, sit, help. Sunday is probably going to be consolidated to the time between the end of the London game and the start of the early slate, the 1 o'clock games. John might try to sneak in a short start, sit stream Sunday morning, but that's right. There's a London game this Sunday between the Vikings and Saints, so we will not have our regular 10 a.m. start sit stream so that you guys can watch the game. We do have our Discord if you're interested in keeping the conversation going or if you want to get help with start sit questions. Third link in the description of this live stream and third link in the description of all of our recent videos. Evergreen invite to our Discord channel where you can ask questions at any time, fantasy related, of course, with an awesome community. So you can crowdsource start sit help there as well. But we do offer start sit help closer to the slate Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern. And then this Sunday, not a traditional 10 a.m. Start time, but probably sometime between the end of the London game and the start of the 1 p.m. games. John will be live for start sit help Sunday morning for that small time slot. All that to say, I would rock with Gabe Davis out of that group. Rojo, what do we think about the rookie running backs outside of the two guys who are actually doing something? Yeah, I would say we're in wait and see mode. I don't know if Zamir White's going to get on the field this year. I don't know how likely Kenneth Walker's role is to expand with Penny, and Travis Homer's still getting touches. Like, that has suddenly become a weird three-headed monster in the Seahawks backfield for reasons I don't understand. Like, why not give your second-round pick more work? Rachaad White is getting no. Rachaad White got a little bit of work week 1, and then he dropped a pass week 2, and then he didn't sniff the football week 3. So his stock is in the wrong direction, but I will say with Rachaad White, I would say I think he's at least the closest as far as if Leonard Fournette goes down, Rachaad White is going to get the football out of necessity because it's down to him and Keyshawn Vaughn because Giovanni Bernard was put on injured reserve. Not for the season, but for, I would think, after this week, for the next 3 weeks at least. So if anything were to happen to Lenny, Rachaad White will get work. But that's where we're at. These guys don't have roles right now. They are wait and sees in Dynasty, and that's it. They are not redraft. They cannot be rostered in redraft. I'll give Rachaad White a couple more weeks just because of how close he is to the opportunity, but he's on thin ice. Oh, Isaiah, you have Geno? Okay. I would who's on the wire? There's got to be somebody. I don't know if I want to make that trade. Not for, if it's a better, Trevor Lawrence is off to a good start and had a great game. That's not the quarterback I want from that package. I need somebody with a little bit more of a pedigree. I would try to buy low on Kyler right now. The vibes on Kyler are not great, but he can still put up numbers even if the Cardinals have a bad season. That's what I would shoot for. What's up, Riley? Are you crazy to debate trading Herbert for Burrow? If you have Chase and you want to create the stack, then no, you're not crazy. Yeah, do it. I mean, build your team. Obviously, you want to be competitive, but build your team the way you want to have your team. Right? At the end of the day, this is supposed to be fun, right? We want to root for the if there's a scenario, if there's a specific scenario, a situation that you want to root for, and you have the means to make it happen, to put it together or make the trade, do it. You have Chase. That's perfect reason enough to want Burrow. You're probably not going to get like Burrow plus something for Herbert right now with the broken ribs, but you can absolutely do that. That's not a problem. Not crazy. And yeah, you get, you double up the points. Double up the points. And Isaiah, I see your roster. Since you have Fournette and AJ Dillon and Michael Carter, I would, see if you can capitalize on Zeke scoring a touchdown last night. I would trade Zeke for a quarterback and you might be able to get like a viable quarterback and a viable tight end just off of Ezekiel Elliott's name alone. Don't let Zeke's touchdown fool anybody. Tony Pollard is the better running back in that backfield right now, which is what matters most. I would try to trade Zeke. I know Zeke's going to get the goal line touches, and he's still like relatively steady. I just with Fournette, with AJ Dillon, with Michael Carter, you might be able to get like a good get a viable quarterback and get a depth running back who's younger, less tread on the tires. I would consider doing something like that. What's up, Matt? Would I trade Mixon? No. I mean, not after this past week. You're people, remember, when it comes to fantasy, people have short memories, right? What have you done for me lately? Mixon didn't have a huge game week 3. I would I would say it might be a bit of a sell low. I wouldn't do it. If you're look, all these trade questions, and this isn't just you, Matt, this is anybody. It's just like if you're asking yourself, should I trade player A? It's just like, if I'm going to do this, does it help my team? Like, is your running back room strong? Is it stout? Then okay, you can consider trade Mixon for a wide receiver. Do you have do you have a clear-cut guy behind Mixon to plug in to the running back spot if you move him? If not, then yeah, no, don't. I wouldn't. Mixon's still got gets an RB1 workload. He didn't week 3, and he might not week 4 with them playing a short week, but I would rest of season, I'm not panicking on Joe Mixon. Nemo, your tactics to join Zombieland do not fool me. And J-Dog, no problem. Always happy to talk shop. Always happy to help people out. I see we got a bunch of questions in the chat. I will get to everybody. I appreciate everybody's patience. I do this kind of one at a time and dissect things as much as I can to hopefully help you. So when it is your turn, I'm going to give you the attention that your question deserves. So appreciate everybody's patience. Thank you so much. Gurjot, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Who should I trade Joe Mixon for? So Matt, just a couple questions ago, just asked, should I trade Mixon? Again, like, you can ask yourself, if I'm considering trading a player, what does my team need? If you're thinking about trading Mixon, does that mean your receivers are kind of weak? And then subsequently, who are the running backs behind Joe Mixon on your roster who you would be plugging in? That's the first question you got to ask yourself. Like, if I'm considering trading this guy, what does my team need? So let me know what you think your team needs, and we can go from there. Monir. I hope I'm pronouncing these names correctly, but what's going on? Half PPR. You have Carr, Aaron Jones, Chubb, great running backs. Sutton, Evans, very strong wide receivers. Goddard, good. Hunt, good flex. Juju, Thielen, Claypool, Edmonds, Walker, Elijah Moore. I'm not huge on Juju, and I am willing to wait on Claypool just because I do think a change to Kenny Pickett will come eventually. I do think the Steelers will eventually turn to Pickett, maybe a little sooner than we thought going into the season. But I could move Claypool if somebody else believes in him more than I do. That being said, I'm not going to drop him. Juju, I'm like, he's a he's such a boring wide receiver 3. With what feels like such little upside. Try to get maybe try to move Claypool and Edmonds, or maybe even Edmonds and Elijah Moore. Try to get a better quarterback. Carr's been okay. Or, shoot for package Evans and Juju and get Justin Jefferson. Go get Jamar Chase, or you could try try Evans for Devontae Adams. You could go for a guy with like some higher end wide receiver 1 upside. I know Evans feels a little icky to buy right now. He's had 2 substandard weeks, but he's still Devontae Adams. And you would have a stack with Derek Carr if you chose to keep Carr. Your running backs are good. I wouldn't do anything about that. Yeah, it's a good team. I don't think you have to worry about like changing anything. No, it's a good squad. What's my take on Clyde Edwards-Helaire? So Jerick McKinnon once again led the Chiefs' backfield in snaps. I don't think, though, that this is like not a scenario that scares me off of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, because I think he's their most talented back with the football. Maybe Jerick McKinnon's a better pass blocker just because he's a little, not by much, but he's a little bigger than Clyde. So they put him in there for pass blocking. But when Clyde is in there, Clyde's getting the ball. What is I saw? Give me a second on this, J-Dog. I got the snaps and touch breakdown for the running backs here. Where did they go? Okay, I got him. So McKinnon 33 snaps this past week. Edwards-Helaire had 25 snaps, but Edwards-Helaire out-touched McKinnon 12-7. This is not a situation that just because Jerick McKinnon is on the field more than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that makes me want to sell Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Clyde is on the field to get the ball. Jerick McKinnon is on the field to pass block for Patrick Mahomes. I am not selling Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He is a 0 RB, modified hero RB, like league-winning pick right now. Anyone telling you to sell CEH, I disagree. I disagree with. Cameron, you got it, no problem. If you can get KJ Osborne, I absolutely love that. I think maybe he doesn't do what he did on Sunday every week, but I really like KJ Osborne this year. He's on every single best ball squad that I have. I forget what my KJ Osborne exposure is on Underdog Fantasy. Which, by the way, if anybody's never played best ball before, come find me in the off season. I know we still got a full season to get through, but I'm always happy to talk shop as far as best ball in the off season. I got to look at my exposure to KJ Osborne. I have him in like all of my tournaments. Now I'm curious. Yeah, I have him on 20% of my teams. Not as much as I thought, but still, that's a pretty strong number when you do like 50 best balls. That number will go up next year. I don't have a problem. Would I trade Mixon for J-Rob and Devontae Smith? Okay, I mean, that I would do. Yeah, that I would do. Because James Robinson's gone right back up to having RB1 upside, and Devontae Smith is awesome. Devontae Smith is awesome. He's not going to have 169 receiving yards every week, but damn, he is awesome. And that Eagles passing offense is like, it looks good. Jalen Hurts has taken a step forward. He looks spectacular. So yeah, that's okay. So that's a very specific, like, yes, I would. If you can get J-Rob and Devontae Smith for Joe Mixon, yeah, I would do that. I'd say that's pretty good. That's pretty good value right now. Cameron, I hear you about liking Amari Cooper, and I don't know. I mean, that is a fair offer for T. Higgins. If you can turn Amari Cooper and 90 minds into T. Higgins, I would call that a win, but I agree. I really like Amari Cooper now and when Deshaun Watson gets back. He is going to continue to be peppered with targets. If you want to go get T. Higgins, that's fine. I'm totally fine with that. But if you can talk yourself out of the trade, this is the Nemo special. I really like this. If I could talk myself out of the trade, then don't do the trade. And I agree. I think Amari Cooper's, there could be some up and down weeks because Jacoby Brissett is what he is, right? Like a game, like he can get you what am I trying to say about Jacoby Brissett? He's passable. He's going to have his good weeks. He's going to have his blah weeks from a statistical perspective. He keeps you afloat. But Amari Cooper is going to continue to command 10 targets a game, 10, 12 targets a game. There is no other wide receiver anywhere close on the Browns roster as talented as Amari Cooper is. 10, 12 targets a game. Patrick, 10-team standard. You need 2 running backs and a flex out of Hunt, Edmonds, Clyde, Gibson. And then you have Robinson, Bateman, or Elijah Moore. You have Hunt, Edmonds, and Bateman starting. I would put Clyde in over. Who are the Dolphins? Oh, the Dolphins are they're the Thursday night game on the road against the Bengals. Cleveland is playing on 10 days rest against who the Browns got this week? Browns got on 10 days rest week 4. They're on the road in Atlanta. That's a juicy matchup. So yeah, I want to play Kareem Hunt, especially on the road. I like pass catching running backs on the road. I would probably play Clyde. Prime time against the Bucks. I know it's a tough matchup by the numbers, but also that's not going to be a home game for the Buccaneers. That game is looking like it's going to get moved because of the hurricane that is approaching Tampa. If that game's played in Minneapolis, that's a neutral game site. That's a loss for the home team. That's a loss for the Bucks. They lose that home field advantage. So the matchup's not as scary. I would play Clyde instead of Chase Edmonds. And Bateman at home. Bateman had a bad week last week. Bateman's at home, right, against the Bills. If he's at home, I'm playing him. If he's on the road, then I could see maybe wanting to put Allen Robinson in there. No, they're at home against the Bills. You got to start your studs. Bateman is a stud. I know he had a bad week, right? 2 for 59, that's pretty amazing yards per catch, but he fumbled, so that's not good. But I'm firing up Bateman in a game, in a shootout, a game that has the potential. Anytime you're playing the Bills, that game has a potential to be a shootout because the Bills don't stop throwing the ball and they're prolific doing it, which means the opposing team has to, keep their foot on the gas too, right? Bateman at home, start your studs at home even more. And I would play Clyde over Chase Edmonds. You have ETN. ETN had a nice day. Doesn't look like it in the box score, but he had 75 total yards. Like ETN had a nice day. I think I would play Hunt, and the Jags are playing the Eagles. That could be favorable for ETN, but that is now looking like a pretty tough matchup. I would play Hunt against the Falcons. I would play Clyde in a neutral situation that favors the Chiefs because it's no longer going to be a traditional home game for the Bucks. That game's looking like it's going to get moved to Minneapolis. I would play Clyde, and I would play Bateman. Oh, J-Dog, it is super flex. Well, if you're considering trading Rodgers, then you are looking to the future. Because you just had Drew Lock and Matt Corral, both of whom Corral's out for the year, and Drew Lock is a backup. So if you're thinking about trading Rodgers, then it's a sell, in which case I would hang on to Mecole Hardman over picking up Zay Jones. Clyde might be a little bit scary in non PPR, but he's scoring touchdowns. And obviously touchdowns are, unpredictable, and they're it's a high variance stat, but he's got 3 touchdowns on the year. And week 2 he didn't score, but he went over 100 yards from scrimmage. Almost 120 scrimmage yards. I'm playing Clyde despite it being standard scoring. Chase Banks, what's going on? Chase, starters. Herbert, Kamara, Aaron Jones. Kamara's a little concerning right now. Sutton, Curtis Samuel, Ty Conklin. Nice pickups. I assume they're pickups, Samuel and Conklin. Chase Edmonds, Cowboys defense. Cowboys defense is a good stream this week. Washington just allowed 9 sacks. Micah Parsons could feast. Flacco, Ingram, Mostert, Hardman, Renfro. Is that Brandon Cooks? Hunter Henry. 14 man. Hunter Henry can be dropped. Flacco can be dropped. I guess it's worth it to keep Ingram since you have Kamara. Hardman, I guess, can be a hold. But yeah, Hunter Henry is a drop, and Joe Flacco is a drop. Trades, I mean, so Conklin is currently a top 5 tight end. You might be able to if you wanted, you could try to parlay Conklin and, I don't know, Renfro for Kittle or Waller. If you want to ride the Conklin wave, I actually don't blame you. He is I think he's the tight end 3 through 3 weeks. Might not be sustainable, but if you want to ride the Conklin wave, you can. If not, you could try to trade Conklin and one of your pieces for Kittle or Waller at this point. I think you could try to swing that. Maybe try that. If not, with having Courtland Sutton and Curtis Samuel, you could try trading Brandon Cooks for a running back. Maybe try Cooks and Mostert. Try to get a running back because Kamara hasn't fired yet, and you're still firing him up as a starter. You have to, I would say, at least for 1 or 2 more weeks. But if he's continuing to struggle, you're going to want somebody to pivot to. You're going to want another running back to pivot to. Something like that. Brandon Cooks I know Brandon Cooks has had a couple down weeks, but he's still a hot commodity in my eyes. He's still got wide receiver 2 upside, commanding 10 targets a game in that offense easily. But you don't need him if you have Sutton and Curtis Samuel, and Renfro's coming back. Those were things I would consider, Chase. Maybe try to sell high on Conklin and get a proven anchor at tight end. You're not going to get the top 3, but you might be able to talk shop on Kittle or Waller if you had Conklin in a piece. And if the person scoffs at you or just says that looks like crap, just be like, Conklin's the tight end 3 on the year. I don't think I'm offering you crap, And then maybe try to swing Cooks and one of your depth running backs for a more viable option at running back with Kamara kind of not firing so far. Something like that. Monir, I think I got this question earlier. I know that it might take some time for me to get to your questions. I appreciate everybody's patience. But you don't have to worry about double posting a question. I promise I will get to it. If you didn't hear what I said, let me know, and I can repeat it. But did get to that. And Matt, got to that. I do think I would, if you can get J-Rob and Devontae Smith for Mixon. I do think I would do that. And Patrick, the touchdown. I'm firing up Clyde. I know that it's standard. I'm firing up Clyde. Rojo, we'll schedule some more voice chat hangouts in Discord. We can do that. Yeah. Unfortunately, with Penny, he has not been able to stay healthy. To that point about the rookie running backs, I do think if you can find a way to trade for Walker as like a throw in a deal, I don't hate that plan. I don't hate that idea. Do not hate that idea. Ethan John, what's up, Ethan? You traded Kamara and Cooks for Chubb. Holy shit. You traded Kamara and Brandon Cooks for Chubb, Mike Williams, and Gibson? That's a big win. I know Gibson, people are concerned about Gibson because Brian Robinson is presumably coming back soon, but as the third piece in that trade to get Chubb is the RB1 right now. We'll see if it's sustainable, but he's the RB1 right now. I know Mike Williams, Mike Williams is suffering from Justin Herbert's injury, but he's got big play upside. I still like Mike Williams as a high-end wide receiver too, despite the Justin Herbert rib injury. And Gibson is going to retain value even when Brian Robinson comes back. He's super talented as a football player, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield probably better than both Brian Robinson and J.D. McKissic, despite McKissic getting those third down snaps and touches. Gibson is ultra talented. He's not going anywhere. Does he have RB1 upside when Brian Robinson gets back into the lineup? Probably not. But he's a flex play. He could be an RB2, fill in during bye weeks. He should be in the starting lineup in most lineups, in most leagues, even when Brian Robinson returns. That's a great trade, Ethan. Nicely done. Nick Michael, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. What's going on, Nick? Thoughts on this trade? This is a one quarterback dynasty, and you're rebuilding. You traded Javonte, Khalil Herbert, Brandon Ayuk, and you got Treylon and 2 2023 firsts. That's pretty good, man. For a rebuild, that's pretty good, man. I hate giving up Javonte just because I'm a Javonte fan, and yes, it's totally fair to be frustrated with his usage this year, and potentially just in general moving forward. Unknown at this point if Javonte will eventually take over a workhorse role, even when Melvin Gordon moves on. We can't sit here and definitively say that the Broncos won't eventually add somebody else, whether it's the draft or free agency. We don't know that, again, and I get into this again one more time. I'm going to plug one more time for anybody who's in here. If you're interested, I got a Broncos backfield breakdown coming out tomorrow. And it goes into a little bit. It's more like this season. So maybe, Nick, you're talking Dynasty, so maybe this isn't as interesting for you, but it still might retain some value as far as like my thoughts on the Broncos backfield situation. Nathaniel Hackett comes from Green Bay, where they have consistently run a rotation in the backfield, even having someone as awesome as Aaron Jones to turn to. They've never given Aaron Jones a full workload in Green Bay. It was either Jamal Williams or A.J. Dillon spelling him on a very 1B-ish basis. With Nathaniel Hackett coming over and installing a similar plan, a similar mindset, we can't sit here and say, oh, well, Melvin Gordon moves on after 2022, it's Javonte's backfield. We don't know that. They might draft another guy high. They might sign a notable free agent. Might bring Melvin Gordon back for one more year. So all this to say, I do believe in the talent. Javonte is awesome, but that is a potential frustrating development for him. Herbert looks like a good depth piece, especially with David Montgomery going down right now. Herbert looks like a good depth piece and he could become the Bears RB1. And I do like Brandon Ayuk, but getting 2 first-round picks. You got Treylon, he was a first-round pick in not just the NFL draft, but your dynasty, your rookie draft this year, and 2 additional picks in what's expected to be an incredibly deep class this year. For that package, given your situation, nicely done. Good job, Nick. Matt, what do I think Chris Olave's ceiling or floor is? I think his floor is wide receiver 2. This man has been unlocked. And now Michael Thomas is dealing with last I checked, it was like an unspecified injury or ankle injury or something like that. Chris Olave to the damn moon. What at 9 for 147, right? Am I remembering that correctly from yesterday? Or from Sunday? It was like 9 for 147. Yeah. On 13 targets. He's got 16 targets the past 2 weeks. He's played 75% of the snaps all 3 weeks already as a rookie. I'm not going to say he's got Justin Jefferson upside as far as like Justin Jefferson's rookie year. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but holy hell, Chris Olave looks like he's the early makings of a stud. His floor is wide receiver 2. Going to be good for a long time. Mr. Curly Wolf, what's going on? How's this trade? Najee, Amari, and Carter for McCaffrey and Pittman. Looks pretty fair. I think I'd rather have the McCaffrey side. I like the 3 for 2. Like Najee, I know Najee scored last week, and right now he's healthy. Right, we're moving away from the Lisfranc concern from the offseason. I'm still a little worried about Najee's long-term health this year. He has quelled those concerns a little bit over the past couple of weeks, but a Lisfranc is one of those lingering things that gives me some pause. Amari Cooper has weekly wide receiver 1 upside, consistent wide receiver 2 floor. He's not going to be a wide receiver 1 every single week, but he's got a wide receiver 1 workload the way he's going to continue to be peppered with targets. So I like Amari Cooper, and I like Michael Carter as a depth rotational, guy who has flex appeal some weeks. That being said, I still, McCaffrey hasn't like fired yet, but he's been pretty consistent. 27 touches. The volume is there, and he went over 100 yards from scrimmage on Sunday. I still like McCaffrey to have like a top 5 running back season, and Pittman is a wide receiver 1, a little bit more like locked in than Amari Cooper, I would say. Give me the McCaffrey side. I would take the McCaffrey side. It's a good package, Najee, Amari Carter, but the linchpin for me is McCaffrey and Pittman. I feel a little bit stronger about. Amari, I feel really good about. Najee, I'm a little concerned about, and Carter is a depth guy. So give me the McCaffrey side. And I agree. Olave is already like is a top 24 receiver. And at least again, it's about a small sample size it gets, right? 2 games. But I can't do math. It's not 16 targets in 2 games. It's 26 targets in 2 games. Excuse my math. 26 targets in 2 games. And now Michael Thomas is dealing with something. Olave's got, probably top 20 receiver upside for at least the short term. That man is good. Yeah, nicely done drafting Olave. I would say it's hindsight. It's easy to say now you should have started him over Devontae Adams, but nobody would ever, nobody would advise that. It's not, don't beat yourself up over something where it's like you made the right call going into the week. But yeah, Chris Olave to the moon now. Now you start Chris Olave. Now you start him. And Nick, yeah, you're welcome. I think we share the similar thoughts here. I love Javonte Williams. I love the talent. His future is concerning given his landing spot and his head coach. And those firsts are highly valuable commodities. We expect this class to be strong. Appreciate the dialogue and the back and forth in the chat. For anybody who's new here, and I do see some new names in this chat. Welcome everybody. If you're still in here, we are here every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. I usually have a co-host with me. I usually have John with me. He is off tonight visiting family. He will be back next Tuesday. If you guys like what you see, if you're not a member and maybe you're interested in becoming a member, maybe you like what you see from our channel, there are details about how to become a member. First link in the description of this live stream. First link in the description of all of our recent live streams and videos. We also have members. What comes with that are members only live streams that we host on Wednesday and Thursday. I host on Wednesday. John hosts on Thursday. You get 2 additional streams with us if you become a member. And we have a special offer for the season called the Practice Squad level membership. If you choose the Practice Squad level, 99 cents a month, you don't get access to any additional perks, but you do get those 2 live streams. So if you're interested, 99 cents a month, the Practice Squad level membership gets you 2 extra live streams a week. Wednesday, you got with me. We do box score breakdowns. That is a new thing that I am kicking off. So tomorrow we will go through like the box score and look at the snaps and touches on a game by game basis. Do a little bit of research and like questions about like Clyde. Is Clyde a sell high? We figure that out in those types of streams. I think it'll be informative. It'll be helpful, and with it being members only, it's a slightly consolidated audience, so you'll get your questions answered a little faster. And then Thursday, John takes you up to kickoff of the Thursday night game. Always a fun time, fun discussion if anybody's interested. If not, that's okay. If you are interested in keeping the conversation going, you can join our Discord. You don't have to be a member to join Discord. Third link in the description of this video and all of our recent live streams and videos. You can come hang out, ask questions, crowdsource, or just talk shop with a kick-ass awesome fantasy community that we are very happy to have growing somewhat rapidly. We're definitely excited. So appreciate all the new names. There's quite a few people I haven't seen before, so welcome in. Good to see y'all. Gianni video. What about this trade? Mike Evans, Antonio Gibson, and you get Waddle. That's a little more palatable. Because Gibson's usage might be going down once Brian Robinson returns. So I'm a little more on board with that. I will say I still like Mike Evans to have wide receiver 1 upside for the year. So I'm not always a huge fan of 2-for-1 deals where I'm not getting the clear-cut best player. And I do think Evans is not too far behind Jalen Waddle. But this is my question, Gianni, because this is the second you've offered. The first one you sent was also a 2-for-1 where you get Waddle. If you just want Waddle, then make the trade, right? It's supposed to be fun, guys, right? At the end of the day, and this is for everybody, not just Gianni, but if you're trying to make a trade and you just want a guy, then make the trade. If there's a dude who I just want this guy on my team because I believe in him, I believe in his production, and I just want him on my squad for reasons X, Y, and Z that you don't need to describe or explain to anybody else, then yeah, make the move. So if the Waddle's a guy that you just want and you're offering a fair packet, I think Evans and Gibson is more than fair, then sure. I will say I do not think Gibson's usage is, yes, it's going to go down once Brian Robinson returns, and we expect that could be within the next couple of weeks. I do think Gibson is going to retain some solid value. And Evans, I think, is a wide receiver 1. Still has wide receiver 1 upside for the year. So it gives me some pause, but that's a little more palatable if you want to make that trade. I think the first one was Higgins and Kirk. Am I remembering that correctly? That one I definitively would not do. This one I'm a little more on board with. Cameron, if Dalvin Cook is out this week, do I flex Madison or Hunt? I love Kareem Hunt against the Falcons, but this is pretty easy. When Dalvin Cook is out, Alexander Madison has to be treated like an RB1. He has proven that in every single opportunity, I think except for 1 or 2 that he's had when Dalvin Cook is ruled out. I think isn't it like 7 or 8 or 9 times that Alexander Madison has been, Dalvin Cook is out, Alexander Madison is inserted as the starter. I think 75% of those scenarios, he finishes as an RB1. It has to be Alexander Madison if Dalvin Cook is out. It has to be. McCurley, you would be getting that McCaffrey and Pittman side? I would say do it. I would say do it. Same trade where you get Saquon and Drake London. That's also fair. I think I would still rather have McCaffrey and Pittman, but that's not too far off. Saquon and Drake London would be fine too. I would think I would prefer to have Pittman than London. I do. Not I think. I do. London is spectacular though. He looks like he's going to be a problem for a long time. He already is. Saquon has the same RB1 upside that McCaffrey does. I guess the linchpin for me, Mr. Curly Wolf, is I would rather have Pittman than London. London's closing the gap fast though on a lot of people. But if you want to make that trade to get either package, I'm on board with it. But I do think I would still opt for the McCaffrey package, not over the Saquon package. But both would be fine. Maybe you could just do Najee and Amari for Saquon in London. Maybe try that. Najee and Amari, and keep the third piece. And what was that? Michael Carter. If you can do if you can do Najee and Amari for Saquon in London, then maybe I prefer that to Najee, Amari, and Michael Carter. I think I'm remembering that correctly, for McCaffrey and Pittman, if that makes sense. But if it has to be all three of them, then give me the McCaffrey side. Xavier, is A-Rob for Cooper a bad trade? I don't think so. It just depends. It's a personal preference thing. Robinson is the wide receiver 2 on a good offense. Cooper is the wide receiver 1 on. Honestly, the Browns have been fine on offense because Nick Chubb is crushing it right now. No, it's not a bad trade. I guess it's personal preference. Today, right now, I think I might prefer Amari. It's close. Allen Robinson came back to life week 2. But Amari is the unquestioned should be the unquestioned target hog in that Browns offense. Robinson is not that. That role belongs to Cooper Kupp for the Rams. So I guess I prefer Cooper. But I would say it's a fair trade. I would say it's a fair trade. A, what's going on, A? Would I trade Kamara and Drake London for Najee Harris and A.J. Brown? Man. I think I might. I feel like I remember, A, did you have an offer where it was just London for A.J. Brown straight up? I think you might have asked us this over the weekend. I feel like I'm remembering that correctly. And if I'm not, then forgive me. But I maybe that didn't go. Maybe the guy who has AJ Brown, or the person who has AJ Brown, doesn't want to do it. Maybe I'm assuming that. The only thing that gives me pause is that with Kamara, it's been a performance issue. With Najee, I still have concerns about the Frank injury long term. He's quelled those concerns over the past couple of weeks, right? He got through the Thursday game unscathed, had a good week, scored a touchdown. He had like 14 half PPR points, something like that. Najee did. I still have some long-term concern about Najee. Kamara, I would say, I guess I feel a little bit better about his prospects of turning it around because he's not hurt. Well, sorry, he was injured, right? He had a rib issue too, didn't he? So I guess maybe the week 3 availability means he's maybe moving away from that. London looks awesome. A.J. Brown looks like a top 5 wide receiver. I guess ultimately it's pretty fair. I guess I'd roll the dice and give the slight edge to the A.J. Brown side just because I would rather have A.J. Brown over Drake London, but London looks damn good. Slight nod to the A.J. Brown side because I would rather have A.J. Brown than London. And both running backs are a bit of a... they have their concerns. Kamara's got productivity concerns. Najee, I'm still a little worried about with the Frank injury, which makes me cautious acquiring him, but if I can get A.J. Brown, then that might be worth the risk. Might be worth the gamble. JP, what's going on? Thanks for your patience. Appreciate it. Miles Sanders and Curtis Samuel for Keenan Allen and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Are you getting the Keenan Allen side? Because if you are, then I would say do it. I would do it. And appreciate the kind words. Appreciate everybody appreciate the subscriptions. That absolutely helps us. We appreciate if you guys like what you see. That's all that we care about. If you like what you see, that is from the channel. That's what matters to us. If you're getting the Keenan and the Clyde side, I think I would do it. Sanders is doing well. To Miles Sanders' credit, he is doing pretty well, and I had some concerns about him coming into the season. I know he didn't have a huge game last week, but he still had 16 total touches. That's pretty good. But 13 for 96 and a touch week 1, 17 for 80, and he chipped in 3 more catches. Not big yardage, but in half PPR, that can still make a difference. So 15 touches week 1, 20 touches week 2. Week 3, he didn't fire, right? Only 15 carries, 46 yards, didn't fire, but he still finished with 16 touches. Pretty good usage. If I can flip him for Clyde Edwards-Helaire and turn Curtis Samuel into Keenan Allen, I'm rolling those are dice I'm rolling. If I'm getting Miles Sanders and Curtis Samuel, I don't want that. But if I'm getting Keenan Allen and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, smash accept, JP. Smash accept. Appreciate the kind words. And I just saw at the very end you said yes. Yes, sir. Smash accept. Get Keenan and Clyde. I am not worried about Clyde Edwards-Helaire just because Jerick McKinnon is out snapping Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is still getting more touches than Jerick McKinnon. If anyone's trying to sell high on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, accept that offer. And that's not a sell high. Miles Sanders and Curtis Samuel, I am happy to give up for Keenan Allen and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Matt, appreciate the subscription. Thank you guys so much. J-Dog, should you trade Rodgers for Mac and a 23 first? Can you try and trade Aaron Rodgers for Malik Willis? So this is the mindset that John always tries to, and I do as well at this point. Aim higher. Always aim higher, J-Dog. And you're in the position where you have the piece that the contender wants. Ask for Malik Willis on the 23 first. Don't ask for Mac Jones. Mac Jones has probably has a very, very long leash in this league as far as opportunities. But for fantasy purposes, he's boring. Ask for Malik Willis. Malik Willis doesn't help the contender this year. They're probably going to say no, but you might as well ask. Hell, throw Corral in the deal. Offer the 2 quarterbacks to sweeten the pot. Offer Aaron Rodgers and Corral for Malik Willis on the 23 first. Do something like that. Aim higher. Always aim higher. The worst they can say is no, and then you can try to find some common ground. Don't ask for Mac Jones on the 23 first. Ask for Malik Willis on the 23 first. Don't worry about offending anybody. Not, maybe you weren't, but you did say, do I think they'll go for it? Don't worry. If they don't go for it, then they don't go for it. Ask for more before giving the opportunity to somebody else to accept something else for less. Does that make sense? If you're rebuilding, you hold the keys in a way that maybe some people don't consider. You have the piece that contenders want. Make them give something up for it. But yes, if you feel like your team is maybe more looking toward the future, you started off 0-3, not the start you were hoping for, yeah, sell Aaron Rodgers. Either way, eventually, it doesn't have to be today, it doesn't have to be tomorrow, but before the deadline, yeah, sell Aaron Rodgers. He does not fit into your long-term plans if you're rebuilding. Zach D, what's going on, Zach? I'm feeling great about Breece Hall long term. I'm feeling great about Breece Hall for this season, just in general, and I feel good about his long term prospects. Michael Carter's a damn good football player, and should not go anywhere as far as the Jets' short term plans, and has a role in this league moving forward. He absolutely does. Michael Carter is a good football player. Breece Hall projects to be better. Breece Hall projects to be better. He's got the draft capital in his favor, right? Carter was a 4th round pick. Breece Hall, the Jets traded up in the 2nd round to draft Breece Hall. Has the pass catching chops, is just in general the better prospect. It's not great. The landing spot's less than ideal with, being on the Jets, not a great team right now. And they just lost their other tackle for a minimum of 4 games. George Fant just went on IR. So the Jets' offensive line is kind of in shambles right now. But Breece saw the highest snap count or snap percentage of his, of his early career, the first 3 weeks of his career. Saw 50% of the snaps against Cincinnati. Got 11 targets. Maybe this changes when Zach Wilson gets reinserted into the lineup. Joe Flacco, dump off Joe Flacco. Maybe Breece Hall doesn't get 9 targets, 11 targets a game. But he proved he deserved some role in the receiving department. 14 total touches this week. Had over 90 total yards from scrimmage. I feel great about Breece Hall moving forward. I think he's a buy in redraft. I think he's a buy in. Well, if you don't have him in Dynasty, it's going to cost a pretty penny. But if anybody is if anybody who has him in your redraft league is concerned about Breece Hall, go trade for him. Go acquire Breece Hall. I feel great about Breece Hall. He's going to be good for a while. Mr. Curley, I appreciate that. I wouldn't call myself a genius, but I appreciate that. I do love, this is what I love to do. Breaking down situations as it pertains to fantasy and talking shop with you good people. So appreciate the kind words. Appreciate that. But yeah, and Jay, okay, so if they have Doubs, yeah, ask for more. Ask for more for Aaron Rodgers. Ask for the much more enticing quarterback prospect in Malik Willis, and ask for that 23 first. I think that should get it. I mean, depending on their QB2, I think that can get it done. And then you get a nice long-term haul for a guy that doesn't factor into your long-term plans. And okay, sorry, I must be remembering something different. So you got Kittle. Oh, okay, that's right. Okay, you traded Andrews. Well, Andrews had another 2 touchdowns this Sunday. He looks great, but I still think that's a pretty good pack. That's a really good package. Kittle's healthy. Don't worry about he didn't do a ton on Sunday night. Don't worry about that. First week back, getting his sea legs under him. Kittle, Hopkins, you got to wait. Hopkins, you got to wait on a couple more weeks. Not a big deal. Keenan Allen sounds like he is turning a corner in his return to play. So, yeah. You're fine there. And as far as, I think, what was it, Kamara and London for Najee and A.J. Brown, I would roll the dice on trying to acquire that package because of A.J. Brown. Chase, do you trade Antonio Gibson for Dobbins? If you can, yeah, I would do that. I love Antonio Gibson, but Dobbins is a little bit more locked in as his team's RB1 than Gibson is. Because we don't know what's going to happen when Brian Robinson returns. Gibson's going to still have a role. No question. Gibson's going to still have a role. But Dobbins took a huge step forward, returning as the Ravens' clear-cut guy moving forward for the season. Led the Ravens' backfield in snaps and touches in his first game back from a torn ACL. That's a great sign moving forward for Dobbins. So, yeah, as much as I like Gibson, if you can turn him into Dobbins, that is something I would be interested in. And JP, yeah, let's see how it goes. Anybody telling you to look, I don't want to diminish any other content creators. I don't want to diminish anybody who would consider themselves an analyst or an expert. I don't like, I'm not in the business to tear other people down or tell people that their opinions suck. I just disagree with the sell high on Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The proof is in the pudding. Yes. Yes, Jerick McKinnon is getting more snaps than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire is still out touching him. He's getting the ball more. Jerick McKinnon is on the field to pass block. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is on the field to get the ball. Anyone selling Clyde, buy him. Buy Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I say buy Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's their most talented player with the ball. McKinnon might be their most complete running back as a savvy vet, right? Reliable pass blocker. Can give you 7 to 10 touches. But Clyde is their most versatile, dynamic player in the backfield with the ball in his hands. He just is. If you can get Clyde Edwards-Helaire, get Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Or Gibson for Miles Sanders. Chase, I would prefer Dobbins over Miles Sanders. I would keep Gibson over Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is off to a really good start, and his prospects as far as continuing to get the workload, the RB1 workload in the Eagles' backfield looks good after 3 weeks. But Sanders also has a bit of a lengthy injury history that I'm not sure I want to roll the dice on. I know Dobbins is just coming back from a torn ACL, but he's healthy now. And Dobbins has an extensive injury history as Miles Sanders does. Dobbins also has elite efficiency marks dating back to his rookie year. Do I expect him to average 6 yards a carry? No. But if there's an offense that's more dynamic running the ball than the Eagles, it's the Ravens. So give me the RB1 in that situation. So I would prefer acquiring Dobbins to acquiring Miles Sanders. I would rather have Dobbins. What's up, Max? What's going on? You might have been right about Nyheim Hines, but that's neither here nor there. Ray, what's up, Ray? Would I rather have Debo or Devontae Adams? I think I still have to say I'd rather have Devontae Adams. It's close. It's really close. You're talking about 2 wide receiver ones. I know it hasn't necessarily played out that way consistently through the first 3 weeks of the season. But you're still talking about high usage, high upside, wide receiver ones. I guess I would still. So with that being said, I'd still give the slight nod to Devontae Adams. Debo's been great. He's still getting 7 targets a game, 5 catches a game, and he's continuing to mix in on the ground. Adams is, Debo sees 80% of the snaps. Adams is a 100% snap player. Full time. Debo's a full-time player. Adams is a literal doesn't come off the field player. He hasn't exactly fired the past 2 weeks the way you want Devontae Adams to fire, but he has caught touchdowns in all 3 games. He remains one of the biggest end zone threats, the biggest scoring threats in the NFL, despite some lackluster performances week 2 and week 3 by his standards. Slight edge to Devontae Adams. They're both really, really good, but slight edge to Devontae. Lots of questions in the chat. Appreciate everybody's patience. I will get to everybody. JP, you agree about preferring Devontae? I slightly prefer Devontae. Ethan, opinions about T. Higgins? I like T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins continues to have wide receiver 1 upside. He's been like a concussion concern the past couple of weeks, which you hate to see. But 5 catches for 93 yards against the Jets. Probably would have gone for more if he doesn't get, a vicious helmet-to-helmet hit. And ultimately the Bengals didn't need him in the second. They didn't need to continue to throw the ball in the second half of that game. T. Higgins is, as long as he can. I hope he's okay with the concussions, man. I hate concussions. I know they're unfortunately a part of the game. I just hate like brain injuries. That's another level. But we're here to talk shop as it pertains to fantasy, and T. Higgins is a wide receiver one for fantasy when healthy. I love T. Higgins. I think he's awesome. I wouldn't, my opinion, keep firing him up as your wide receiver too. Like, I would do nothing there. I wouldn't trade him. I'm not trading him unless I'm getting Cooper Kupp or his teammate Jamar Chase or Stephon Diggs. I'm not trading T. Higgins. JP, any opinion on the Chargers defense? Yeah, they were horrible this past week. They are playing. Who do the Chargers have this week? And what's the latest on Joey Bosa's injury? Who do the Chargers get this week? They're on the road in Houston. It's a good matchup. What's Joey Bosa's prognosis here? Let's see. Dealing with significant groin injury. Yeah, I don't. Without one of their premier pass rushers, I don't like them. On the road, JP, I would pivot. I would stream a defense this week. Chargers are on the road, down one of their best players on defense, and they just got blasted at home by Jacksonville, who clearly looks like a much better team, and they are a much better offense than what the threat Houston poses this coming week. I just don't want to play a defense. Like, they didn't give me a reason to continue believing in them, and now they're going on the road without Joey Bosa. So I don't really want to play them. Will Brian Robinson cut Antonio Gibson snaps heavily? I don't think so. Somewhat, but not like significantly. Might Brian Robinson be the 1A in that backfield when he returns? Maybe. But Gibson's too talented to like completely take off the field. Ethan, that is a tough call. I guess I would say Mike Williams. It depends on the scoring. If it's half or full PPR, I guess I would go Mike Williams. If it's standard, then maybe I go Brees. Who do the Jets play week 4? On the road in Pittsburgh. All right, I don't like that as much. That's not as enticing. Probably Mike Williams. We do have start-sit help on the weekends as well when we're closer to the games and injury reports have been sent out and all that stuff. Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Sunday, well, this week there is a London game, so we won't have a 10 a.m. start for our Sunday morning start-sit help. But we will probably try to fit one in between the end of the London game and the start of the 1 o'clock games, as long as there's time in between. If you want help closer to the slate. But my early look at that, I would start Mike Williams, despite the Justin Herbert injury. Give me the guy with the big-time upside play. Yeah, give me Mike Will. Yes, Lamar continues to run in all the touchdowns, but Dobbins has Dobbins, I would think, has a little bit more of a locked-in, larger workload than Gibson does when Brian Robinson comes back. As much as I love Antonio Gibson, if I can get Dobbins for him, I would probably try to do that. Plus, it's a much better offense. Like, let's invest in guys in good offenses. The Washington offense is not as good as the Ravens offense. Put it that way. Joshua Conroy. What's up, Joshua? You traded Cook, Hunt, McLaurin for Lamb, Deontay Johnson, and Javonte Williams. That's a great trade. I don't really have much more to say to that. That's a great trade. Nicely done. Dalvin Cook is the shoulder separate. If you can trade Dalvin Cook, anybody who has Dalvin Cook, if you can trade him, trade him. I hate to say it. He's not gone for the entire season. But these shoulder separations they get they happen frequently. They are a frequent reoccurrence, and usually the more they happen, the longer you're going to be out. I have severe concerns about Dalvin Cook for the rest of his, not just this season, but just moving forward for his career in general. If you can trade Dalvin Cook before the questions about his availability for Week 4 start to ramp up, I would do it. I would trade Dalvin Cook if you have him. So I love doing that. McLaurin's usage is concerning moving forward. I know he had a great week this past week, going for 100 yards. But Curtis Samuel and Jahan Dotson remain big threats in that passing attack. I like Kareem Hunt a lot, but he can be replaced for a better option, and you did that with Javonte Williams. Getting CeeDee Lamb and Deontay Johnson, it's a great trade, Joshua. Great trade. Like, seriously, nicely done. If you can get J.K. Dobbins and Eckler for Kamara, I would do that, Yes, I would do that. You're trading an RB1 for an RB1 and picking up an RB2. I would do that 8 days a week. Yes, I would do that. Drew L, what's up, Drew? What would be a good trade for Tua? Okay, so look, what does your roster look like? Like, are you strong at running back? Then trade your RB3. Are you strong at wide receiver? Then trade your wide receiver 3. Do you start 2 receivers or 3 receivers? Like, look at the strength of your roster. Where can you afford to lose the most and offer that up? Like, do you have strong running back depth? Trade your RB3 or 4. Do you only start 2 receivers? Trade your wide receiver 3. These are the types of, like, what does your roster look like? What does your starting lineup look like? And then negotiate from a position of strength. What is the strongest spot of your lineup? And then go from there. Quarterbacks are going to be hard to trade for in a 2 quarterback league. So you're going to have to pony up even for somebody like Tua. So trade from a position of strength where, like, you still have wherever you have stronger other options, then trade from that position. Don't allow, like, your wide receiver spot to become a weakness if you only have 2 good options. Don't let your running back depth become a weakness if you've only got 2 or 3 names. So hopefully that helps. Val's the GOAT. What's up, Val's? Should I do Bateman or Davis and Marquise Brown for Waddle? I wouldn't. Could you do, I see you said Zeke, Davis for Waddle. Could you do Zeke and Hollywood for Waddle? If you can do Zeke and Hollywood for Waddle and keep Bateman and Gabe, I'm interested in that. I know Marquise Brown had a really good week 3 and should continue to dominate targets, but DeAndre Hopkins coming back soon. I would do Zeke and Hollywood if I'm getting Waddle and pair him with Bateman and Davis, who I know both were quiet this past week. I wouldn't expect that to be a consistent thing. Could you try Zeke and Hollywood for Waddle? Let me know. Karsten Delk, what's up, Karsten? Should you sell Hollywood when D-Hop comes back? So it depends. Can you sell high? Can you get a Jalen Waddle? Can you get somebody who's performing at a high level right now? Don't sell just to sell. But if you can get a really strong name in return, then yeah. Ethan, I would start. So Tua's dealing with a concussion. I don't care what those reports say about a back injury. That was garbage. We saw him wobbling around on the field after he slammed his head on the turf. Going on the road, having to play on a Thursday night on a short week, I usually have some pause in those scenarios. I worry about the short week plus having to travel. Brady's going to have to travel too. The Bucs are looking like they're going to lose a home game to this hurricane. Sounds like they might be playing in Minneapolis this weekend, but he gets Mike Evans back, coming back from a suspension. In prime time, in what could be a shootout with the Chiefs, Tua could be end up in a shootout with the Bengals as well. But again, I always have a little bit more pause with Thursday night games unless it's a bona fide, like, I can't take this guy out of my lineup. I have some pause with guys in the Thursday night games. I think I would go Brady. Prime time against Patrick Mahomes. Gets his wide receiver one back in Mike Evans. I don't know if he's going to get Chris Godwin back this week, but he gets Mike Evans back in a game that could be a shootout against the Chiefs. I think I would go Brady. Okay, yeah, JP. So yeah, I'm off the. I don't like the Chargers this week. I would pivot off of them. If you can get the Packers defense, absolutely. Mike Valderano. What's going on, Mike? Should I trade Kelsey and Josh Jacobs for Waller and Kamara? No. Keep Kelsey and keep Jacobs. Kelsey is the tight end one along with Mark Andrews. They're co-tight end ones. So I don't want to downgrade from that position with tight end. I don't want to downgrade. If I have Kelsey, you're gonna have to give me like an incredible haul to trade him. You're talking about like one of the premier players at the thinnest position of talent. And I know Waller's no slouch, but Kelsey's still better than Waller. Kamara on paper is an upgrade over Josh Jacobs, no question. But Josh Jacobs is at least from a fantasy perspective, is outpacing Alvin Kamara right now. So no, I would not do that. I would keep what you have. Gavin, what's going on, Gavin? You have Stafford, Amon-Ra, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Wilson, Kelsey, and Allen Robinson. You're 0-3. Okay. Eckler is people seem to be down on Eckler right now. What did he do? He had like 9 catches week 2, so I was like not worried about him. What did Eckler officially do week 3? I feel like he had another quiet week. 4 carries, 5 yards. That's bad. But he caught another 8 balls. Eckler caught 8 more passes. I'm not moving off of Eckler. Especially with Justin Herbert's rib injury, he's going to be looking to check it down even more. He's going to be looking to get the ball out even faster to avoid, injuring himself further. So I'm not panicking on Eckler. I know Eckler's not firing like you expect Eckler to fire, but he's catching the ball. He's got 17 catches the past 2 weeks. I'm not panicking on Eckler. You're fine on Wilson. Kelsey, I wouldn't move. You have Amon-Ra. And you've missed Keenan Allen for the past 2 weeks, so that hurts. You might be getting Keenan Allen back this week, so that would be a plus. You need a quarterback. Could you try to trade the Stafford Allen Robinson stack for Kyler? I know Kyler didn't have a great week last week, but he got a game against the Rams like out of the way. Tough defense, division opponent. Could you try and get Kyler, Gavin? That's where I'm at. You're not going to get Jalen Hurts. You're not going to get Joe Burrow. You're not going to get Lamar Jackson. You're not going to get Mahomes, or you're not going to get anybody. You could try for Kyler. The waiver wire quarterbacks so far, like trying to stream quarterbacks, it hasn't totally worked out this year. I would try to trade, or Stafford and another depth guy. Maybe even try to keep Allen Robinson, just like Stafford and another depth guy for Kyler. That's my first thought, Gavin. Or you could try to sell Allen Robinson for another running back. You have Kelsey, you have Amon-Ra, you have Eckler, you have pieces there. You're okay in some of those spots. But yeah, see if you can get Kyler for Stafford and a piece. Maybe try to flip Allen Robinson for running back help. Those are my initial thoughts. Ethan Fournette should continue to have an RB1 workload, which gives him RB1 upside in that offense. I know he hasn't fired just yet. I believe him when he said last week the touchdowns are coming. I know it didn't happen for him this past week, but that was a tough game against a good Packers defense, and they were able to key on him a little bit more. The Packers were without Mike Evans. I'm not panicking on Leonard Fournette, not even a little bit. He's still got RB1 upside. Callie Loco, what's up, Callie? You got to drop one between Mooney, Darrell Williams, and Nico Collins. I would probably drop Darrell Williams. Mooney's it's awful with Mooney right now, but You drafted him way higher than these other two guys, so I'm gonna wait like a couple more weeks on Mooney, but he's on thin ice. There's no doubt. I would drop Darrell Williams. Did Darrell do anything this past week? If he did, and I'm just oblivious, then forgive me. But like the Arizona Cardinals offense didn't do much of anything this past week outside of Marquise Brown. Oh, 1L, not 2. 1 carry for 7 yards. Yeah, Darrell Williams is your drop, Callie. But good to see you. Josh, you also traded Madison Bateman to the same person for Dobbins. All right. Well, that might hurt you this week. But I really like the first trade you did. So I'd say you did fine. If you're, I guess I would probably just keep Brady. Lawrence has a tough matchup against the Eagles this week, so I don't know if I would go. I mean, game script will favor Trevor Lawrence throwing the ball a lot, but this is a tougher. The Eagles' defense is better than the Chargers' defense, and it's a second straight road game for Trevor Lawrence. The deck might be a little more stacked against him there. If he does it if he does it Sunday against the Eagles, remember, Jags had to travel to LA, right? Cross-country road trip to LA. Now they got to go, cross-country again, and then they got to go up to Philly. It's a lot of travel for 2 weeks for the Jacksonville Jaguars. If Lawrence fires this Sunday against the Eagles, I'll give him his flowers. And I do think he's going to be really good for fantasy moving forward. Lawrence is a good quarterback. He absolutely is. Last year was an aberration that wasn't his fault. Lawrence is a good quarterback. I am not chasing him this week, given that specific circumstance. I would play Brady for one more week. Drew, CEH and Ramondre for Tua in a 2-quarterback league is probably a fine offer. I would hope you have really strong other strong running backs. Not like Dalvin Cook. I'm worried about Dalvin Cook and that shoulder. But that looks like a fine offer in Superflex. Just as long as your running backs are, you have other, maybe you have 2 other really good options. Is that an overlay for Waddle, Vals? I don't think so. I'm not going to get. I know Zeke is still like the goal line threat and still the touchdown scorer in the backfield for the Cowboys, but I don't mind getting rid of him. I think Waddle's got a little bit more staying power for the season than Hollywood does. I feel more confident about the Dolphins' offense than I do about the Cardinals' offense. And once DeAndre Hopkins comes back, Hollywood takes a hit. Waddle has proven that he has been able to survive Tyreek Hill's addition to the lineup. Jury's out on if that happens with Hollywood and Hopkins. But if you can pick up another piece, then I would do it. I would prefer to keep Bateman and Gabe Davis. I would. Both had bad weeks. I still believe in both. Gavin, your bench is Tua, ETN, McKissick, Boyd, and Claypool. I mean, could you try to sell high on Boyd? You're not going to start Boyd over, if everyone's healthy, and the report with Amon-Ra was that it was an ankle, right? Encouraging development for Amon-Ra, so he's fine. I like Tyler Boyd a lot, but you're not going to start him over Amon-Ra, Keenan Allen, or Allen Robinson. Could you try to package like Boyd, like capitalize on Boyd's big week? Boyd had a huge touchdown score for some running back help, or package Stafford and Boyd for Kyler, something like that. That's what I would maybe try to do. Raj Veer, what's up, Raj Veer? Eckler or Henry for rest of season? In half or full PPR, Eckler for sure. In standard, I guess I would prefer Derrick Henry. It depends on your scoring. I'm not out on Eckler just because he hasn't fired the way we hope he's fired yet. He's still getting the touches. He's still getting 8, 9. He's had 8 catches last week, 9 catches week 2. And Justin Herbert is dealing with a rib injury. He's going to be checking it down all season long. Half and full PPR, Eckler. I'll give the nod to Henry in standard. Henry had a huge week this week, but that offense is still a little tough to trust on a week-to-week basis. Chase got that question already. Appreciate your patience. I know there's lots of questions in the chat. I might be moving kind of slow. I appreciate everybody's patience as I get through these questions. But yeah, I'd rather have Dobbins if you're going to make that trade. Gavin, no problem. I know 0-3 sucks. It's still early. You can bounce back 1 week at a time, right? Let's worry about one win this week. That's all we got to worry about. Riley, Debo, London, Gabe, would I hold or sell these guys in a PPR league? If your running backs are shallow, then London looks awesome. London looks great. If I'm selling London, I'm trying to get an RB1 because he commands that right now. I'll keep Debo for his versatility and his steadiness in that 49ers offense. And Gabe, I don't want to give up Gabe. He's a touchdown. I know it didn't happen for him last week. First game back from an ankle injury, and that was a weird game in Miami for the Bills in general. But Gabe is like the touchdown scorer, the red zone threat on the best passing attack in the NFL. I don't want to give up Gabe. If I'm giving away London, which I don't love to do, Riley, but if you could use some running back help, I guess I would give up London and I would ask for a damn good running back. Aaron Jones, I would ask for a damn good running back. Breece Hall plus another wide receiver. Like maybe I would do something like that. Like Debo and Gabe, I think have a little bit more of a pedigree to them so far. London less so, and is in the worst offense of those 3 guys by far on a consistent basis. Which means there could be some inconsistencies for London. But that being said, after these past 2 weeks, you can get a stud for London at running back, or you should be able to ask for that. Consider doing that if you have some shallow running backs. Sheldon Bright, what's going on? Happy that Devontae Smith pick. Oh, right. Was that Devontae or Ayuk? I think that's what you were between. Was that what it was? I'm happy I said Devontae Smith too. Woo-wee. That worked out nicely. Happy that we were able to help. You love to see it. Drew, okay, you got Aaron Jones, Derrick Henry. Yeah, sure. Clyde and Ramondre. Maybe try Clyde straight up, or Clyde and even like a lesser piece than Ramondre. Never, remember, and this is not just for Drew, this is for everybody, never give your best offer first. Give a fair offer first. Don't insult anybody. Give a fair offer, but never give your best offer first. Could you do like Clyde and like somebody lesser than Ramondre? If they don't go for it, then you can up it to Ramondre. But that sounds good, Drew. That sounds good. Aaron Jones, Derrick Henry, Leonard Fournette. You're stout at running back. So you could afford to part with those 2 guys. But maybe like give them your first offer, and then you can offer Clyde and Ramondre. And if that's what it takes, yeah, I would do it. You traded Kyler, Sheldon, and Ayuk for Clyde and Dak. You have Swift, you have Saquon, you have Ramondre. I like that. I like acquiring Clyde. If people are worried about Clyde Edwards-Helaire and you hear like people selling high, go buy him. I'm buying Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Maybe I'm a little against the grain right now as far as what other people are hearing from an analysis perspective, but I'm buying CEH. I am not selling. So if you got him and Dak is coming back, yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that trade. if you have to ride with Trevor Lawrence this week, there you could do worse. He should have to throw the ball 50 times. At this point, the Eagles look like one of the best teams in the NFL. I expect the Eagles at home, Jags' second straight road game. I expect the Eagles to win this game. Lawrence is going to be throwing all day. So you do have that in your back pocket. Game script is heavily in Trevor Lawrence's favor. It is a tough matchup, though. Where are we at here? Some guy offered you, Riley, somebody offered you Gibson and ETN for Saquon. Nah, well, at least I was like, okay, at least it is a hard no. But yeah, it's not like the worst. It's not like the most insulting trade, but it is a clear no. Don't ban him. Just counter the offer by asking for Gibson and ETN and not giving up anything. Oh no. Did my stream just crap out? What happened? Did my stream just crap out? Looks like it might have. Oh, I'm good? All right, thank you. It looks like it's lagging over here. Okay, looks like I'm still live. All right, sorry. It looks like it's buffering. Okay. All right. It looks like it might have been buffering for me. I think we're okay. Phew, that would have sucked. Because we have still things to get to in here. Let's see. Max, what do you think I can get for Amon-Ra? Yeah, you should be able to get to, if you're giving up Amon-Ra, then yeah, 223 first sounds about right. And I don't even know if I want to do that. Amon-Ra looks spectacular. He looks like a wide receiver 1. But if you want to move off of him for whatever reason, yeah, I think 223 first is I wouldn't settle for anything less than that. Amon-Ra looks great. Looks awesome. Okay, Josh. So your lineup after the trade is Hurts. Hurts is one of the best fantasy quarterbacks in the NFL, and he's like a top 10 NFL quarterback maybe right now too. Maybe that's a little much, but Hurts looks awesome. Kamara, Javonte, Lamb, Deontay, Pitts, Dillon, and you got some strong options on the bench. Yeah, nicely done, Josh. Looks like a good team, and I really like that. I'll be honest, I'm not crazy about the Bateman. Madison. It was Madison, right? Madison looks like he might be an RB1 this week, but that could come back to earth. And Bateman for Dobbins. I will say I'm not crazy about that one, but I absolutely it doesn't matter when the trade you made to get CD, Deontay, and Javonte. That one was a spectacular move. So I like the team. I like it a lot. You just need Kamara to turn a corner, and you're in real good shape. And Riley, yeah, I love the idea of still getting Brees before anybody else catches on. So yeah, if you can make that happen, do it. And London is deserving of like multiple good pieces. He's killing it right now. But if you could turn him into 2 really good options, not a bad idea. AJC Royals, T. Higgins for Aaron Jones. Depends on what you need. Okay, so all right, let me see. You have Josh Allen, St. Brown, Drake London, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon. I would say no. AJC, just because who would be your RB2? You already have Amon-Ra. You have Drake London, who's killing it. Like, who would be your RB2? And then you have Deontay Johnson as well. T. Higgins kicks ass, man. I love T. Higgins. He's awesome, and he's probably the best wide receiver of this group. But if you're giving up Aaron Jones, you might, I don't know who you have on your bench. You might have a hole at your RB2 spot. Mostert and Kenneth Walker. Yeah, see, T. Higgins for Aaron Jones is fair, but the way your roster is constructed, Aaron Jones is more valuable to you. You need to get if you want to trade Aaron Jones. I mean, you might be able to. You're not going to be able to get T. Higgins in a 2-for-1, but I would get a wide receiver and another running back, like a good running back. I would not do that 1-for-1. Yes, in a vacuum, Higgins is more valuable, but not for your team. Gavin, someone offered you AJ Dillon and Hunter Renfrow for Tua and McKissick. I would accept that. This was you have a one quarterback, right, Gavin? It's a one quarterback league. Tua's on your bench, and you have Gavin. Who's your quarterback? Stafford. Yeah, do that. I'm not crazy about Stafford, but if you can get Dillon in a one quarterback league, if you can get Dillon and Renfrow for McKissick and Tua, yes, do it. Do that trade, Gavin. Yes, sir. Do that trade. Yeah, I would do that trade. And thank you for the multiple confirmations that were good. My stream was like buffering on my end, and it like the timestamp froze, and I was like, oh crap, I'm losing my stream before I can get to the end of my chat. So appreciate the confirmations that you guys can still hear me. Thank you. Yeah, or Gavin, you said you could maybe get Terry. That would be fine too. If you can get Terry for Tua, that would be fine too. But I will say I like the Dillon and I do like the Dillon and Renfro acquisition. Renfro is kind of blah, but like so is McKissick and Tua in a one quarterback to get a guy like Dillon, worth it. And I think you needed a running back, like a little bit more than you needed a wide receiver, right? Scrolling back up and see if I can remember this. You have Amon Ra. Yeah, you have. Yes, I would do the Dillon acquisition, Gavin, because your RB2 is Jeff Wilson. Get another running back. Get Dillon. I would do that trade. I would definitively do that trade over the McLaurin acquisition. McLaurin's not as valuable to your team as Dillon would be. So yeah, do Dillon and Renfro for Tua and McKissick. If you nicely done, if you can make that happen, Gavin. And AJC, yeah, no problem. You are welcome. That's what we like to do here. Hopefully help people out. And yeah, no, I do like Walker for upside, but you can't fire him up now. He offered ETN and Higgins like in separate. If you could get both for Aaron Jones, then okay, that's a little more palatable. That's a little more enticing. But you will be pushing a good wide receiver to your bench, right? Because you got, you would move Lazard to your bench, and then you would have Higgins, Amon Ra, and Drake London as your starters, and then what? AJ Dillon and Travis Etienne. I love Aaron Jones, but that actually, if you can make that happen, then that's more palatable. But not Etienne for Aaron Jones. No way. Make that trade happen. We are coming to the end of the chat here. Definitely going to make sure that we get to every and all questions. But after that, I'll probably be shutting this down in the next few minutes. Just want to thank everybody for the engagement today, the comments, the questions, the dialogue. It was great to see. It was great to see new faces and old faces interacting with everybody in the chat. That's what we want to see. We're in the business of helping each other out here. So love to see it. Appreciate everybody's engagement and dialogue today. I'll plug the channel after I get to these questions. Joshua, is Eli Mitchell a good buy low? I wouldn't offer much, but sure. Should be back in about a month and a half. Is a bit of an injury concern, right? He missed 6 games last year with injuries. Missed already, obviously missing time this year. So he is a concern. But if you can get him, for I don't know, trying to think of like a wide receiver who's doing well, but like somebody who maybe isn't sustainable. You could buy low, but I would buy really low. Like I don't know why this is my first thought, Joshua, but if you have like a Ty Conklin, but you also have a George Kittle or a Darren Waller, like maybe try to trade a good backup tight end who's doing well for him. Like, and even then you might be able to get like another piece for like a Conklin, maybe not like a spectacular piece, but at least another depth option that you could turn to. You can buy low on Elijah Mitchell, but it's exactly that. I would not go very high, because you're going to have to wait at least probably another 4 weeks on him. 4 or 5 weeks, and it could be longer than that depending on his recovery. And he's, again, missed 6 games last year. So in his very short career, but already beaten the odds career as a 6th round pick, he has had some difficulty staying on the field. So I wouldn't go. You said buy low, so I hear, but even relative to buy low, I wouldn't go bonkers trying to acquire Elijah Mitchell. Sheldon, should you ride with Mike Williams? Yeah, you should. Caught a touchdown last week, or this past week, despite the rib injury with Justin Herbert. Remember, Herbert's hurt right now, so he's not able to like maximize his full potential. Williams' full potential, because he's probably in some pain using all that torque, right? All that torque he needs to like throw it deep. He's probably not able to uncork it the way he usually wants to. So Mike Williams, his ceiling is hurt by that, but I'm not trading him unless I'm getting, a guy with, another guy with wide receiver 1 upside or high end RB2 upside. I'm not selling low on Mike Williams. It depends on what your offers are for him. But there's probably, even now, there's only a handful of guys who I would accept in favor of Mike Williams. Mike Williams still has huge big play upside. So yeah, I'm riding with Mikey Doubs. Rico Baptiste, what's up, Rico? Rate this team, can do that. Burrow, Javonte, Pierce, Debo, Amon-Ra, AJ Brown, great wide receivers. Pitts, you got Breece Hall, nice. Hang on to Breece, don't sell Breece. Hopkins, nice that you're sitting on him, and you got Dobbins. This is looking like a very strong roster, man. You traded London and received AJ Brown. Oh, that's right. I thought that was A earlier, the one who traded London and received AJB. That's a win. I love London, but AJ Brown looks like a top 5 receiver right now. Yeah, man. I don't know that there's too much more to improve. I think Javonte, again, one more time for everybody who maybe missed it, I have a Broncos backfield breakdown coming out tomorrow, so I'll do a little bit more on my thoughts on Javonte Williams. That being said, I would not sell him. I would keep Javonte Williams if you have him. Dameon Pierce looks like a reliable RB2 moving forward. You have Dobbins back in the mix. That's great. I wouldn't do a whole lot, Rico. I think I would. You did your move. You received AJ Brown. Wide receiver 1, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 1, tight end 1 with really strong options at running back. Sit back and enjoy the show. That's what you should do. You have a good team. You have a really good team. And Sheldon, appreciate that. Thank you. Always appreciate everybody. We love seeing the repeats. That means we hope the returning viewers hopefully means we're doing something right. So appreciate it. Thanks for being in here again. Baby Santa. What's up, Baby Santa? The Dalvin owner came to you asking for Madison and offering Jeff Wilson. That is a hard no for me. That is a hard no. This is simple. If the Dalvin Cook person didn't draft Alexander Madison to protect their very risky investment, then they don't deserve to get Madison on the cheap. If they want Madison, they better come with it. I see you have Eli Mitchell. I'm not worried about that. Alexander Madison is the most valuable insurance policy as far as running backs concerned in the NFL right now. I am not trading, even if Dalvin Cook plays this week. Even if Dalvin Cook is getting in a full week of practice, Shoulder separation, man. Shoulder separation. It's a big concern because it's an easily reoccurring injury. It's an easily reoccurring injury, and the more it happens, the lengthier the rehab process is each time. I have serious concerns about Dalvin Cook moving forward. Maybe he doesn't miss significant time, yet, but there's a pretty good chance that it happens at some point. I would be severely, severely worried about Dalvin Cook. So if I'm trading Alexander Mattison right now, I better get like Javonte Williams. Seriously. I like Jeff Wilson. He's a nice player. Madison's price is way higher than that right now. Way higher. Even if Dalvin Cook gets the full complement of snaps this week. Let's say Madison doesn't fire this week. Let's say Madison has a quiet week 4. I don't care. Shoulder separations are severely concerning over the long haul. I would not be investing in Dalvin Cook's health right now, even if he plays week 4. Nope, I would hang on to Madison. You can fire up Devin Singletary as your RB2, no problem. You're fine there. It might be gross on a week-to-week basis, but it's fine to roll the dice on the starting running back in one of the best offenses in the NFL. So no, hold Madison. Carson, you started last on draft day, and now you're second with 3-0. Hey, celebrate. We always love seeing those unblemished records to start the year. Cheers to that. Crack a beer. Enjoy the work you've done. Yahe, what's up, Yahe? Would I trade Gabe Davis, Deontay Johnson, Hawkinson, and Hawkinson for Kittle and Keenan Allen? No, sir. No, I would not. I'm keeping Gabe Davis, who is a touchdown scoring monster. And I'm keeping Deontay Johnson, who is still, despite the bad quarterback play, a PPR monster. Kittle is definitely a step up from Hawkinson, but acquiring Keenan Allen at the expense of losing Gabe and Deontay, I'm not crazy about that. I would keep your package. I would keep the haul that you have. Hawkinson's volatile. I get it. Kittle's a big upgrade from him, but losing Gabe and Deontay for Keenan, I'm not crazy about that. I'm not crazy about that. And Karsten, if you're struggling with your tight ends, yes, Robbie Anderson can be dropped for David Njoku. If you can make that happen on waivers tonight, yeah, I'm good with that. Yes, do that. Baby Santa, we talked Dalvin. I'm happy to help you get fired up about Madison. Hang on to him. Not for Justin or not for Jeff Wilson. No, sir. So Tober, what's going on? It's Herbert Williams, then Madison. Is that your waiver priority? Or I'm not sure what that is. Sorry, I might be drawing a blank. And Karsten, should you cut Michael Carter for Jamal Williams? You could. I do like Michael Carter. Jamal Williams definitely, he's definitely got short-term appeal. For over the next 3 weeks, Jamal Williams has RB1 upside if Dalvin Cook isn't playing, or if DeAndre Swift isn't playing. You could, if you need the short-term help. Doesn't sound like you do if you're 3-0. But you could pick up Jamal Williams and then maybe try to sell him. You could do that. Sell him to the person who has DeAndre Swift. And then get Carter back. Maybe try to do something like that. Because you can ask for a lot for Jamal Williams right now. So I guess I would. Do that because you can ask for more from Jamal Williams than Michael Carter right now if you chose to. And that might behoove you to do that. You're 3-0. You're not desperate for wins. Might be smart to pick up Jamal Williams, trade him for a lot, and then go back and get Michael Carter if you can. Or package Jamal Williams for a wide receiver 2 and get a wide receiver 1 or something. So yeah, I guess I would. Forgive Jonah. What's up, Forgive Jonah? Would we trade Thielen, Javonte, and J-Rob for Tyreek and Olave in full PPR? You have Saquon, you have Jamal Williams, you have Edmonds, and you have Pollard. Could you trade? Could you try to capitalize on trade? Like I don't know if I like. Yeah, I'm interested in Tyreek and Olave. I definitely am. Could you try to keep one of Javonte or James Robinson out of the deal? Could you replace it with like a I know both of Javonte and J Rob have more long term appeal than Jamal Williams does, and probably Tony Pollard. But could you try to throw one of them in the trade instead? Jamal Williams has like RB1 appeal for the next 3 weeks. Could you capitalize on something like on a short term, like eyes getting big at Jamal Williams because DeAndre Swift is likely to miss a little bit of time here? Yes, I want Tyreek and Olave, but I don't know if that's a lot of running back depth to give up. Full PPR, super enticing to get. Like, yes, I'm interested in this package. I'm interested in getting Tyreek and Olave. I'm trying to do it. Let me try to give up Javonte or James Robinson and maybe give up Edmonds instead, or Jamal Williams or Pollard instead of both Javonte and J-Rob. Can you try to spin that? Let me know. Jared Hatfield, what's up, Jared? You have Mahomes and you have Lawrence on your bench, considering moving Mahomes to upgrade your roster. What's the rest of your roster? Like, where do you need to improve? I don't know if I necessarily want to trade Mahomes, unless I'm in a bad part of town as far as what the rest of my roster looks like. Let me know. Baby Santa, no problem. Always happy to help. And Loaf, what do I think I should trade for? You have Brady, McCaffrey, Diggs, Kirk, Olave, Hollywood Ertz. Oh, you okay? I think I did get this earlier, but if you missed it, then okay, no problem if you missed it. What did I say earlier? You could try to trade Hollywood. Off of his really strong performance week 3. Plus, we're a little closer to DeAndre Hopkins coming back. You already have really strong options in Diggs, Kirk, and Olave. What I said was I'm not too worried about your RB2, whoever you're running back. I know you said you need running back help, but you have McCaffrey. So you only need to fill one more spot on a week-to-week basis. So I wouldn't worry too much. But I guess what are your other – I think I was curious to know what your other running back options are on your bench. But if they're not great, if you don't love them, then maybe I would try selling high on Hollywood coming off of a really good week 3. Because you still have Diggs, you still have Kirk, you still have Olave. Maybe try to sell high on Hollywood and get, you can ask for an RB2 or maybe even a little better for Hollywood. Like Breece Hall and a piece, Clyde Edwards-Helaire and a piece, something like that. Something like that. Ryan Cummings, what's up, Ryan? Do I think you should trade Andrews, Kamara, Dameon Pierce, and Michael Thomas for Pitts, Jonathan Taylor, and Dobbins? That is a lot. You'd be giving up. I thought Pitts would be closer to Andrews this year. That might have been a bad take. Andrews, I think, has separated himself away from everybody other than Kelsey. So that would be a bit of a downgrade. Kamara, Dameon Pierce, and Michael Thomas for Taylor and Dobbins. Actually, I don't hate that. I really don't. Loaf, I know you said below you're not crazy about that, but Michael Thomas is now dealing with an injury, right? He's got an ankle injury, right? Let me check that. Michael Thomas is dealing with some type of injury, forced him to leave the game. Officially listed as questionable. Toe injury, likely not serious. Okay, so that's good news for Michael Thomas, but still, he did pick up the injury. But the fact that it's not serious is encouraging for him. Give up Kim, who is not as injured as I was maybe concerned about, and Kamara and Dameon Pierce. To give up Taylor and Dobbins, I'm taking Andrews and Pitts out of the equation because that's a win for Andrews, not for Pitts, as much as I like Pitts. I guess I would say it looks pretty fair. So in that regard, who are your other wide receivers? You said you need running back help pretty bad. Taylor and Dobbins are an upgrade over Kamara and Pierce, so that's good. But losing Andrews and Michael Thomas to pick up Pitts, Taylor, and Dobbins, it does feel like a good amount. I guess it's fair because you would be getting Taylor, even though Taylor's been kind of quiet relative to his expectations the past couple weeks. I wouldn't put too much stock into that, but it is noteworthy, or it's just something to point out. Because you'd be giving up Andrews, I might ask for like a depth wide receiver in return and maybe just make this a 4-for-4 trade. Try to get another piece. But I do think it's decently fair. So it's honestly personal preference at that point. Go with your gut. If you want to acquire Jonathan Taylor, there's plenty of incentive there, but you will be giving up. It is a little bit more of a drop off between Andrews and Pitts, at least so far, than I would have predicted in the to start the season. I would maybe see if you can squeeze a 4-for-4 trade and see if you can get a depth wide receiver out of the deal. Andrews is on fire right now. Eric, what's up, Eric? How much fob for Herbert or Jamal Williams? It sounds like for dropping Renfro for one of them, yeah, that's probably worth it. If you need the spot start, if you think you're gonna fire one of these dudes up in your flex, then yeah, spend 25 to 30%. Remember, this is monopoly money. I never want to. I always want to be a little cautious. But at the end of the day, if you have your eyes on you could use some running back depth. Go get the running back depth. 25 to 30% of your fob for either one is probably fine because they both have RB1 upside as long as Montgomery and Swift are out, respectively. Now they both have a bit of shelf life. Montgomery and Swift are both expected back this year, which is why I'm saying don't spend like 85, 90% of your fob. But a short-term running back for 3 weeks can still have some extreme value. So 25 to 30% of your fob for either one that's fine with me. Higher if you happen to have either Montgomery or Swift. And maybe we're talking 50% of your fob. Loaf, I would not trade Olave for Singletary. I would keep Olave. 26 targets the past 2 weeks. Or no, 26 targets the past 2 weeks. And what do you have, like 17 catches the past two? I would not trade Olave. Hollywood, I would trade. I would not trade Olave for Singletary. I would trade Hollywood for Singletary and something else, Loaf. That's what I would do. Richie Lara, thanks for coming in. You want to offer Robinson, Dillon, and Jacobs for Sutton and Ertz? That's a lot of running back depth to give up to not get a running back in return, Richie. I don't know if I would do that. If you're loaded at running back and you could, Sutton's an upgrade from Allen Robinson. Zach Ertz might be an upgrade if you're streaming tight ends, but that's a lot of running back depth to give up to not get a running back in return. If you've got, if you're loaded at running back, then that's one thing. But if you're not loaded at running back, then I don't think I would do the trade. Karsten, yes. And this is not the first time I've gotten this question having concerns about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson could be playing a defensive Hall of Famers at every position. He is a must start. And I think he's on the road this week. No, he's at home. Baltimore is at home. Yes, you're starting Lamar. I don't care that it's the Bills. I don't care if it's a defense full of Hall of Famers. Lamar Jackson is a must start. You are firing him up, and you are not thinking twice about it. Who wins? Saquon, AJ Brown, and Bateman, or Mixon, Debo, ETN? The Saquon side, and it's not close. Saquon is I'd rather have Saquon than Mixon. AJ Brown and Debo are pretty comparable, even though AJ Brown's been off to the stronger start. And I'd rather have Bateman than ETN. The Saquon side. All right, Jared, let's see what we got here. Running backs and tight ends are hurting so far. Kamara's hurting. Dylan's had a couple slow weeks. Dobbins is back, so that's good. Sanders, Khalil Herbert. You got Khalil Herbert, so that's a big boost. Tight end is currently Ingram. Yeah, could you try to? I mean, here's what I would do. I would package, instead of giving up Mahomes, could you try to package Lawrence and maybe Miles Sanders for like a wide receiver? Instead of giving up Mahomes, who I feel better about over the course of the season, Trevor Lawrence is off to a great start, but Trevor Lawrence is also like, you can capitalize on his really good performance this past week. Could you try and Miles Sanders had 2 really good weeks to kick off the year, and is still getting like RB1 usage for this team. But if I can sell him and say like Trevor Lawrence for like a strong wide receiver, or even like I was going to say Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but maybe that's a little too much to give up for Clyde. I'm sorry, you need a tight end. Sanders and Lawrence for Waller, for Kittle. Could you do that? Could you do like Sanders and Lawrence for either Kittle or Waller? Like swing for the fences. Like Miles Sanders has, at least right now, has starting running back appeal. And Trevor Lawrence is, you could call him a streaming option moving forward. Swing for the fences. I would try something like that, because you'd be offering a starting running back. There's plenty of value there. Oh, and Loaf, you have Madison? Well, hang on to Madison. You might be firing him up this week. Griffin, should you sell or should you trade Cook for Kamara 1-for-1? I would. If I can trade Dalvin Cook, I'm doing it. I'm very worried about Dalvin Cook. These shoulder separations, man. The more that he collects them, the likelier they are to reoccur, and the likelier the rehab process is each time it happens. So yeah, I would. I know Kamara hasn't exactly fired so far this year, but I have less concern about Kamara's injuries than I do about Dalvin Cook's. So yes. Karsten, you won that deal getting Chubb and Hopkins for Cook and Judy. Again, I worry about Cook. Judy hasn't fired since week 1, and the injury concern is definitely something noteworthy, but I'm not totally giving up on him, but obviously he hasn't, fired just yet. Dalvin Cook, I'm worried about. Chubb by himself is the RB1 right now, and you got a stash in Hopkins. Nicely done. Alex Contreras, what's going on? You got offered Kamara and Keenan for Chase. No. Keep Jamar Chase. Keep Jamar Chase. Kamara hasn't fired yet, and Keenan Allen is coming back from a hamstring injury, so that's good, but Jamar Chase is a top 5 wide receiver. And Kamara and Keenan collectively, so far through 3 weeks at least, they are not worth that. Keep Chase. Griffin, I'm only selling Gibson if I get an upgrade at running back. I'm not worrying too much about the Brian Robinson returning soon potentially. Gibson is too talented for this team to completely go away from. I'm not selling Gibson on the cheap. You can sell high. If you get a running back 2 or better, great. If you get a wide receiver 2, great. I'm not settling. I'm not settling for in a deal to give up Antonio Gibson. Should you sell Hollywood? Yeah, you can sell. I mean, you can try to sell high on Hollywood if you could use some running back depth or help. Yeah, yeah. Monique, what's up, Monique? Someone dropped Ramondre Stevenson. Yes, I would drop Gage to pick him up. I would hang on to Gallup because at least Gallup is close to returning. And I think Gallup's got a little bit more wide receiver 2 upside than Gage does because he's going to be the wide receiver 2 for the Cowboys when he comes back healthy. When all of the Bucs receivers are healthy, Gage might be the team's wide receiver 4. Yes, I would drop Gage for Ramondre Stevenson. Absolutely. Yeah, go get him. Go get him. Whale or Wale. Hope one of those is correct. What's going on? Trade Russell Wilson and Mike Evans for Lamar. Can you get like a? I'm not asking for a lot here, but can you get a wide receiver 3 in return? Either honestly, if your wide receiver depth is good, then yes, I would do that deal. I love Mike Evans. He's got wide receiver 1 upside for the season, but if your wide receivers are strong, then yeah, I would do that. I would do that. But maybe see if you can get you're offering up a wide receiver 1 in what I assume is a 1 quarterback league. Maybe it's a super flex league. I would maybe see if I can get like a depth wide receiver. Not that I'm not like breaking the bank, but like a depth wide receiver. But either way, yeah, I want Lamar Jackson. I don't want Russell Wilson anymore. That's for damn sure. King Showtime, what's up, King? You traded Brian Robinson and Bateman for Chase Edmonds and Hunter Renfrow. I don't mind the Edmonds acquisition, but I'm not crazy about giving up Bateman. Bateman had a quiet week 3, and he's been coming through on some crazy good efficiency, but he still has come through the first 2 weeks with like long catches for scores. I'll be honest, King, I'm not crazy about the trade. I would rather have the Bateman side. And Brian Robinson, I know he has, he's not back yet. We're expecting him hopefully back week 5. Could take him a few more weeks to ramp back up, right? Just because he's back week 5, or maybe he's back week 5. Maybe Brian Robinson isn't what we were hoping he would be prior to the incident. But there's still like long-term appeal with Brian Robinson. We don't know what his role is going to be. Yeah, I'm not crazy about it because I don't love giving up Bateman for that. Edmonds is a pass-catching running back in full PPR, so that's certainly, that's helpful. But he's maybe more of like a flex guy than an RB2 guy. And Renfrow is we'll see if he carves out a similar or some type of chunk of the role that he had last year. It's going to be hard to replicate his numbers with Devontae Adams in town and Darren Waller back healthy. We'll see. But Renfrow is probably a bye week fill-in type of guy. Bateman should be a regular starter in most situations. If maybe your wide receiver depth is strong and your running back depth is weak, maybe you needed a running back, a guy that can help you now. In which case, it's not bad getting Edmonds. And if you're loaded at wide receiver, then fine. But I don't love giving up Bateman. San, should you trade Nick Chubb and Keenan Allen for Jamar Chase and Javonte Williams? Man, that's not bad. I think that's pretty fair. If you want to do the deal, I would say that's fine. Chubb is probably a bigger, not probably, at least so far, he's proven he is a better play than Javonte Williams. Javonte's not fired the way that people hope yet. That being said, I do think he is a sneaky buy low relative to cost. And Jamar Chase is a big upgrade over Keenan Allen, I would say. I would say looks pretty fair, son. Or I would say this looks pretty fair. If you want to make the trade, I'm fine with making the trade. I'm fine with that. Looks pretty fair to me. I wouldn't say there's like a significant win or loss on either side. I think if both parties want to do the deal, then do the deal. Good with that. And how do I feel about Njoku? Yeah, so Dawson Knox is super dicey right now because Allen is throwing the ball all over the place, and Knox, it's not like he's getting targets, or it's not like he's getting targets and just not coming down with catches. He's not getting targets. So that's a little concerning. Um, if you can grab if you can grab Njoku, I don't know if I want to drop Dawson Knox yet. And having Allen, I guess I do want to see if that stack hits or fires at least 1 or 2 more weeks. So to that point, if you wait 1 or 2 more weeks, you're not going to end up getting Njoku. I would probably I would roll the dice on Knox for at least 1 more week and hope that he can fire. I like Njoku. We can't predict that Njoku has this, is able to replicate those week 3 numbers on a consistent basis. Because you have Allen, I think I would go back to the well with Knox for like 1 more week. Let's see if he can get a red zone look or 2, hopefully, and let's go from there. And Ryan, if you want to get rid of Derrick Henry and you can make that trade, then make that trade. Because Jamar Chase is a clear upgrade over Hollywood. And at least with Javonte, yes, Derrick Henry has that workload to himself. But yeah, that's fair to be concerned about him. He's older. He's coming off that bad injury. Javonte is splitting work with Melvin Gordon, but he's looking good. Javonte looks good with his touches. He looks explosive. He's the younger, fresher body, right? Compared to Derrick Henry. And Jamar Chase is a big upgrade over Hollywood. Yeah, make that trade. If you can make that happen, do it. Do it. And I agree. Derrick Henry, like they had a good matchup against the Raiders, and he came through with big time volume. But it might not be a very good offense. Might not be a very good offense in Denver, but I guess their prospects are a little better than the prospects in Tennessee. Yeah, make that trade, Ryan. I'm all in on that. I'm all in on that. And Richie, let's see, your wide receivers are weak. Oh, this was to acquire Sutton for those running backs. You have Godwin, Hollywood, Olave. Your receivers aren't weak. You're fine. Your receivers are fine, Richie. You have Taylor, Saquon. Okay, but your running backs are loaded. Who's your tight end? Do you need Ertz? You're getting Godwin back. Olave looks great. I would try to trade. If you want to try to trade, I would trade like one of Dylan or Jacobs, not both. Could you do one of those two and A-Rob for just Sutton? Do you need Ertz? Who's your tight end? Let me know who your tight end is. Oh, your tight end is Knox. Okay, that's not great. Yeah, I mean, could you trade Jacobs, A-Rob, and Knox for Sutton and Ertz? I might not go for it. I see that you're loaded at running back. That's awesome, but you know how quickly that can turn, right? I don't know. You could. I'm not hoping this for anybody, but you could lose 2 running backs in the span of 2 weeks or less, and then all of a sudden you're relying on your 4th and 5th options to get you through. So I would trade one. I don't think I would trade both. Jacobs and A-Rob. Could you trade 2 receivers? Or could you trade Jacobs and Hollywood? Maybe do that. Hollywood's guy, I would think, has a little bit more appeal right now because he just came off a huge game. Could you do like Hollywood and Jacobs for Sutton? And we'll figure out tight end later, maybe hit up the waiver wire. I would try to do that. Griffin, you're giving up Gibson and DJ Moore for Breece Hall. Could you get a depth receiver in return? But I actually don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. I do like getting Breece Hall. I know DJ Moore hasn't fired yet this year, but he's still talented. It's not his problem. It is his problem, but it's Baker Mayfield being not good at throwing the football. That's the problem. DJ Moore's still talented. Could you get like a depth? It could be like a throw in, but could you get a depth wide receiver? Either way, I don't mind the Brees Hall acquisition. If you're getting Brees Hall, I don't mind that trade. But I would see if I can make that a 2-for-2. Because Gibson has played well, and DJ Moore, for his struggles, he was still a third-round pick for a reason. Something to think about. All right. We are coming up. Actually, we're past the 3-hour mark, so I'm going to be shutting this down shortly. So I appreciate everybody's contributions, everybody's comments, questions, all of that. I will continue to get through these questions, but I will be looking to shut this down somewhat shortly. If your question gets missed, if I'm wrapping things up and your question comes in late and your question gets missed, join our Discord. Third link in the description of this video. It is an evergreen invite. You don't need to be a member to be a part of the Discord. You can keep the conversation going whenever you want. We got an awesome community over there. You can crowdsource questions. You can talk shop, talk fantasy football with a bunch of other people who just love fantasy football like you all do. Third link in the description of this video and all of our recent videos. Feel free to join. And if you like what you see, you can get, there are memberships that we have available with this channel. If you're interested, first link in the description of this video and all of our recent videos. We have information in there about different membership levels. We also have a special over the course of the season. It's called the Practice Squad level membership. Practice Squad gets you access to the 2 additional streams that we do each week. We stream to the general public Tuesdays. So today, 6 p.m. Eastern for waiver help and trade talk and all of this stuff that we're going through today. Saturday and Sunday are start sit help. Again, general public. Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Wednesday and Thursday, we host members-only streams. For 99 cents a month for the Practice Squad level membership, you get access to those 2 streams a week. So that's 8 extra streams a month that you get with us for just 99 cents a month. You don't get any additional perks that come with being another level of membership with the channel, but you do get those extra streams with us if you are interested. So just wanted to shout that out as we start to wind this stream down today. This has been awesome. You guys have certainly made it easy going, 3 hours solo, keeping the questions coming. I appreciate everybody's patience as we, as I work my way through this. Much appreciated to everybody. Where did I leave off? Carson's talking about the loser of your league. Oh, all right. Hopefully that haircut isn't you. We started off 3-0, so you're in good shape. I like having those Sacco punishments, though. Last place should have to do something, either embarrassing or the Waffle House challenge, Loaf, you are number 2 waiver. If you get Herbert, should you still trade for an RB2? I don't know if he's going to be permanent this year, but I think at least in the interim, you don't have to worry about trying to make another trade. Herbert, is Montgomery going to play this week? I don't know if he's going to play this week, but if he doesn't play, even if he does, Herbert's the better player in that backfield, I think. He's day-to-day with the knee and the ankle. I would say Herbert can be started this week. So you can still trade for an RB2, but if you get Herbert, you don't have to make any immediate calls there because he can be your RB2 for at least this week. Let's see. Thoughts on Doubs, Rico? He's got wide receiver, high upside wide receiver, high wide receiver 3 upside for the rest of the year. Sammy Watkins is on IR, is going to miss the next 4 games. Christian Watson is dealing with hamstring injuries and hasn't done a whole lot to this point. It's just Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, and Romeo Doubs. And Doubs is the, exciting young rookie who definitely has the fresher legs than Cobb does at this point. I think 5 catches, 65 yards, 5 for 60, 5 for 70, 6 for 70, 6 for 65. I think that's the floor that we can start to expect from Doubs moving forward. He'll probably have his down weeks here and there. He's a 4th round rookie, but the opportunity is wide open for him. He's worth a pickup in redraft if he's still on waivers. Bambo, do you trade Zeke, Pollard, Hollywood, Kamara, and Doubs for Saquon, Connor, McKissick, Olave, and Claypool? Holy hell, that is a big package, but I say yes, Bambo, strictly because you're getting Saquon and Olave. Could you throw somebody else in there other than McKissick? Could you throw a better depth running back in there than McKissick? Because you're giving up both Zeke and Pollard and Hollywood, who's got our wide receiver one upside at least for the next couple of weeks. You're giving up Kamara. You're giving up a lot of running back depth. All right, give me a second here. Could you take McKissick and Claypool out of the trade and ask for just like a stronger piece somewhere, whether it's another strong running back or another strong wide receiver? I don't mind moving off of Zeke. I don't mind moving off of Kamara. When you're throwing in Pollard and Hollywood, and I just got done talking about Doubs and his floor for the rest of the season, that is a ton to give up. I do like Saquon. I do like Olave. Connor gives me some pause. If you can get like a better player than keep McKissick, keep Claypool, and maybe have that, maybe you take Doubs out of the equation, or maybe take Pollard out of the equation and add a better piece than McKissick and Claypool. Like try to finagle that. Zeke, fine. Hollywood, that's the piece that you need to give up to get something. So fine. Kamara also makes this like, wow, you're giving up a lot. I would try to keep either Pollard or Doubs. Maybe Pollard because you're giving up like two anchors at running back, or at least two. Recent history, they've been anchors at running back. They can keep McKissick and Claypool and maybe try to get an upgrade somewhere else, even if it's just one player. But Saquon, yeah, I'm fine with. Olave, yeah, I'm fine with. That is a lot to give up. I would try to keep Pollard. Hell, take Claypool and McKissick out of the trade and do Zeke, Hollywood, and Kamara for Saquon and Olave. Maybe shrink the trade a little bit. Maybe less is more in this scenario. Zeke, Hollywood, and Kamara for Saquon and Olave. Take the other pieces out of it. Can you do that? Rico, Eagles defense rest of the season might be top 5. They are loaded with talent. If you have them, hold. They might be matchup proof. And their schedule is easy. Their schedule is easy, at least for now. Eagles defense top 5 defense for fantasy, I would say. Ryan, I mean, Derrick Henry just came off of like a Derrick Henry performance. He just balled out. You probably can't ask for McCaffrey. You probably can't ask for Saquon. You probably can't ask for Taylor, but you can ask for, you can ask for like an anchor in Jamar Chase plus a still really good option in Javonte Williams. You could take Henry and one of your wide receivers and see if you can get maybe Henry plus a piece gets you one of those other anchor running backs. There aren't too many others, though, to be targeting because you're talking about one of the premier players at the position. There's reason to be concerned about him. Advanced age, bad offense, right? A lot of tread on the tires with Henry. I wouldn't try to trade for Zeke. I wouldn't try to trade for Dalvin Cook. I wouldn't try to trade for maybe, you could trade for like maybe Alvin Kamara plus something else. But yeah, he's in that pantheon with McCaffrey, with Saquon, with Taylor. So don't settle. And I don't think you are, not with Jamar Chase and Javonte Williams, if that can happen. But yeah, there aren't too many names. Make sure you come away with either a great package or another anchor with another big time name at the position. All right, last couple questions here. Griffin, your wide receivers: Jefferson, Debo, Curtis Samuel, and Garrett Wilson. What was your Gibson and DJ Moore for Breece Hall? Okay, then yeah, go get Breece Hall. Go get Breece Hall because you don't need DJ Moore with those guys. I'm fine with acquiring Breece, but maybe see if you can get a little extra something in the deal because you are giving up 2 good pieces. Maybe try a 2 for 2. Whoever they have on their bench who looks like an enticing depth option, ask for it. The worst they can say is no. Clutch 71. What's up, Clutch? Should you drop Wentz? You have Hurts. Drop Hines. It depends on who you're getting. But if you have Hurts, you don't need Wentz in one quarterback. If you have JT, then I would keep Nyheim Hines, and I would not drop Allen Robinson. I know he hasn't fired two out of 3 weeks, but I wouldn't drop him. Wentz you can drop though in one quarterback if you have Hurts. Wentz you can drop. That is going to do it for me. We have reached the end of the chat, and we've been going for a little over 3 hours at this point. It's been a ton of fun, guys. I really appreciate everybody coming in, hanging out, asking questions, talking shop. Appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out. Oaquis, Jarvis, you're catching me at the tail end, Oaquis. Jarvis is only depends on who's on the wire. If there's a good name with either a long-term upside or a guy that you can start this week, then yeah, Jarvis is a drop because Olave has emerged, and Michael Thomas, it sounds like his injury isn't serious. So it depends on who's on the wire, but yeah, Jarvis could be a drop if you could pick up somebody that has starter appeal this week or just more long-term upside. That'll do it for me. Again, the Discord is the third link in the description if you want to keep the conversation going. We have membership options available if you like what you see from this channel. I have a Denver Broncos backfield breakdown video dropping tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, appreciate all of you. Thanks, everybody, for coming in. Thanks, everybody, for asking questions. Everybody have a great Tuesday. I will see the members tomorrow for Box Score Wednesday. John's got you on Thursday, and he's got you for Start, Sit, Help. This weekend, I will be at a wedding. So I will not be here this weekend for Starts and Help, but I'll be here for the rest of the season after that. So members, I will see you Wednesday or tomorrow. Everybody else, you got John for the rest of this week otherwise, and I will see you starting next Tuesday for our Week 5 waiver and trade help show. Everybody have a good night. See you soon.